miss you, James. And we miss you, Oren Veidt, who is GCW.
Yeah.
What's the show?
It's the Joey Janela Farewell for Now show. Yeah. With Super Hummin'.
Yeah, I did see this Super Hummin'.
Hummin'?
Let's.
Is it pronounced Hummin'?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but they like dove through a table with VCRs and Legos.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
Somebody
The
just
Lego part
sounds
do you think that Lego part was worse than the knife board?
Well, the best part about it is Superhuman took off just a little before George Janela did, so he took almost all the horribleness of that.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't know why I subject myself to watching that, but I did.
That's like 19 seconds long.
It is. Still, that's 19 seconds of my life I will never get back. Who's Orensky got tonight?
I believe he is wrestling for the GCW Championship against Nick Gage, Schlack, and I believe it's Tremont.
So all guys he's beat before.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was right!
On the screen.
All guys that Orange beat before
Yeah.
in Milwaukee.
That's true.
I think he's the only guy to beat Tremont 3 times.
Also, I believe true.
We could recommend if they have 2 TVs, they could go watch Fight TV and watch us at the same time.
Oh yeah,
That is going to be a
Multitask,
bloody war, and there's going to be a lot of light tubes.
Yep.
I'm sure. And good luck, Oren. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And
Say that it's the night the lights went out in Chicago. Well, not Chicago, it's New Jersey.
This is
So you
New
wouldn't say
Jersey.
it's Chicago at all.
we probably
That would
won't
be terrible.
kill your character.
Probably.
So,
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
probably not.
So I think what everyone should
probably
do
fine.
is go purchase that, watch it later, then come back here.
Oh, yeah. Watch
Record it.
us.
That's right. That way you can
Watch it
focus on
later.
one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Do any of
That's
us,
even better
That's the
plan.
best plan.
do any
Now
of
you
us
can
know,
focus.
if any of us know polymorph, we could polymorph him into a cat, and then he can't take damage.
It's canon.
We're gonna do that. Let's
It's
polymorph
canonical. It works.
Let's polymorph him into like a butterfly or something.
not-
Like
Just-
really
Well,
cute.
butterflies can
A
take
giant
damage.
owl.
Not a
A
giant.
giant
We're not doing
owl.
that. All right.
Bear.
Getting on board with things because we're starting way off track. Good luck again, Oren. We're going to go on the table. I would like everyone to introduce himself, introduce their character, and let us know, or let our viewers know, or even myself know, where you stand on what your character wants to do. You've got a couple options in front of you. Belknap's Fields is definitely desiring your assistance, but after what you saw and what you went through at the Vind farm, do you still want to stay? Also, Torin heard something speak directly to him in the wood by the fields.
True.
I know there was talk before about going and delving into the forest, or at least trying to beseech it. You know that the forest is also full of a herd. And then I think, if I remember correctly, and maybe this was Oren White talking, there was talk about going and trying to find Belknap Manor. Since I can't remember that character, that NPC's name off the top of my head for whatever reason.
Which one? Belinda?
Belinda Vind had said that's where she and her now deceased husband had found
Twice.
items when they
Twice
had
deceased.
deceased.
Ooh, you had to rub that in.
You didn't say it to her.
Yeah, I'm just.
So,
It's a fact.
who wants to go first?
You go first? I'm going first.
You go first.
Cassandra playing Roya. She's a Vidalcan warrior princess.
Also, we're using Sirenscape. Use it for your games. Sirenscape.com. Yeah, it's worth it.
Sirenscape, get at us.
Sirenscape. Throw us some, I don't know, free
Sirens.
content. It's already free. We already got it, so.
It's not free. Not free. But it's reasonable.
For me.
It's fair.
Roya's just about willing to go just about anywhere that she has something she can study. So she's intrigued by the mansion. But there might be stuff there that she can take with and study, but she's also kind of intrigued by these creatures that, you know, they're weird. These are not things she's used to seeing, so.
That's not an answer.
That's 2 things. 2 out of 3.
Okay, looking for a
Yes,
singular answer.
I don't have a singular one because she's too multi-focused.
Okay.
She goes where people need help and where she can study things. So she's a little bit of a crowd goer that way.
Silverback Tauren, Dragonborn Ranger. I wanted to go find this spirit with the rest of the group and not by myself.
The one in the woods.
Yeah, the one that spoketh to me.
And you just ignored.
I was alone.
Noped out of there.
Which Belinda
Tauren has spent many years living in the underbelly of Ravnica, and he knows a situation to walk away from. And strange spirits speaking to him out of nowhere when he's by himself is one of those.
Well, and Belinda said we'd have to talk to the spirit probably to get to the mansion because we won't be able to find it without
The
it.
mansion, the mansion I'm also interested in, but primarily I want some backup. I want to go back to talk to this spirit. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm Warrior. I play Balder, Furbolg, Hexblade, Warlock. I would also like to go talk to the forest to find out why the forest isn't talking to the guy that talks to the forest.
Alright, I'm Nate, your D&D ringer, playing Kortash, a Kalashtar druid, and put me on the forest spirit train, because I will back you up for that conversation.
Awesome.
It's a train.
I got a gang.
Now we got a
Ooh,
train going. Woo, woo, hop on the train.
This is like turning into a Studio Ghibli movie all of a sudden.
Yes.
I'm Shannon. I play Allie, who's a tiefling bard, and Allie would absolutely love nothing more than to just get the absolute hell out of here as quickly as possible. Absolutely nothing about this is normal. Absolutely nothing about this world is fantastic, and everything is terrible.
Lady, you're in
Real
the wrong.
Yeah, we might be.
That is exactly the point.
we might be losing Allie this time. She still let us suck us.
She's been real quiet for a reason. She's just like, yeah, I'm over this. This sucks a lot.
Just get up.
And
leave
she's still
after
at
an
half
hour and a
strength
half.
too, so that's fun.
Just go home after an hour.
How do
and a
they
half.
fix that half strength situation?
Greater restoration, I believe,
Greater?
is the answer.
Greater restoration.
And that's the
Yeah,
only
which
way
I
to
don't-
do it?
I
There's
don't-
no
I don't have.
other
No,
magic
you
herbs.
can't
I have-
say it.
I
It's
have-
like- That's like level 4.
I have lesser, but that's
Is
not
there
gonna help, is it?
perchance
Could
a
lesser
scroll
give?
of greater restoration bush that
Yeah,
I could
probably.
find? Because I can find anything we need in nature. as a
Technically,
ranger.
Technically, any.
So if those grow on bushes or trees or vines or like maybe as like a tuber,
Well, I mean, technically,
like
any.
a scroll just coming up out of the
tuber.
ground.
No.
I mean,
Can-
technically,
no,
any
damn.
tree is a tree of greater restoration scrolls. If you make greater restoration
okay, but
scrolls
the
out of
key
a tree.
is the spell has to already be on the scroll,
Mm.
and I
Can we
I'm
fusion hot
useless.
to lesser restoration?
That's what I'm saying. Can I negotiate where my lesser brings out back
Because
up
I've got one
a
too.
quarter of their half strength they lost?
Hey, I'll
No.
throw it in there. We'll do 3 lesser restorations at
No,
once.
this is not a
It's a
negotiation.
Voltron!
This is not.
yeah, if it's a 3-for-1, you combine 3, you get 1.
This
greater
is
rest-
not domains of restoration.
No, the more we become better.
Just you
Anyway,
just
you were
support it.
saying, illustrious DM.
Yeah,
puts
rocks, rocks
our
fall,
lives
we
in
all
his hands.
die. It's
Game
just
over.
better next time.
Breach hole, all die. Even had it underlined.
He didn't work today. This is a good sign or this is a bad sign. So
So when we last left off, we were chatting with
Belinda.
Belinda
Belinda
Bind.
Who had just given Caro Fish
The healing thing.
Oh.
The hag.
Yeah.
the hag's
Thanks,
kiss
man.
that
Kiss,
she
there you go.
needed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And
my-
Carol thinks the gods
Trying to
won't
get
communicate with them
the
anymore.
computer to cooperate, and it's saying, computer says no.
Do you want me to read off my notes? 'Cause
I would love for
got
you to
some
read off your
notes.
notes.
How far back would you like me to go?
to the beginning of
Just
time.
no. Good God. Just to where we left off.
I know. Well, I meant like no. I didn't mean that far back. I mean like the full session or just like the last little bit.
The last little bit.
So after the fight, after the 5-hour trip back, Alzina goes and checks on Bettinger, which we didn't hear how that worked out. If he's cool or not. Belinda went to heal Caro. Caro thinks that the gods can't communicate with them anymore. That they either might be gone or the communication might be blocked. That was also when everyone was together at dinner talking about Shub-Niggurath and the breakdown of that. Let's see. Magnar returned the bones to the old man, and he's got the key to a house in town, so we were all going to stay with him, right?
Yes.
And then, yeah, Belinda recommends we go to Belknap's mansion, but says someone will have to talk to the forest in order to make that happen. Might be able to talk to a or the gods there.
Boom.
Better? No?
Yeah.
Helpful? That was just everything after the
I
fight.
am encumbered because my strength has been halved.
Oh, I was like,
all we need to
Like,
do
is
with
this
that.
Fallout?
How do we want to
such
deal
a
with
weird
that?
deck.
You have
That's
two
such
levels of
Drink a
exhaustion.
beer, you'll be fine.
You have 2 levels of exhaustion. Because I don't.
Oh,
do-
instead, okay.
That's such a
Ben,
weird
yeah, Ben doesn't
declaration.
normally
Okay.
do the encumbered
Fine.
stuff.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I wasn't sure how we were handling
Being
it.
encumbered, it's not. It's not for me.
It's cumbersome.
Drink an old possum ale, everything will be fine.
Appropriately so.
It's not called Ben
Encumbered, so.
All right. So, as we talked about, Alzina left to go check on Harold Bettinger, who had been horribly injured.
And that's the guy that I pulled all the things out of, right?
Pretty much had every
Spent all
bone
my
broken,
healing.
didn't he, too?
He was beat up real bad, and you know that he is a priest of Lathander. You also know from Belinda Ben's opinion he is also not a good person. You're there talking, and probably about 30 minutes into your conversation, there's a knock at the door, and Agnes lets another youngish woman in. She looks like she's probably in her early 20s. She's dressed similarly to Alzina. Looks like beyond the pointed ears, they could be distant sisters or relatives. And she kind of waits to see who you are. For a moment, Robert pulls her aside and kind of has a whispered conversation with her. And then she goes in and she hugs Belinda, who seems actually relieved to see her. They again have a short conversation in hushed tones. And she then pulls aside Magnar, whose name all of a sudden escaped me because he's probably getting hit with class right now. And
Oh, he's gonna be the main event.
Magnar leaves.
Doesn't say anything, just goes.
He just kind of lets you know that he's got something he's got to take care of.
Oh, that guilt.
Cool.
Did he leave the key to the house?
No, but he ensures that the house is unlocked. You can get there if you need to.
All right.
Allie will begrudgingly look slightly concerned about him.
She doesn't
But only
want
when
to.
no one's
She like
looking.
knows she knows that she should feel concern for him, but like kind of hates herself a little bit.
A little bit,
for,
yeah.
Like, ugh.
She's like, oh, I should really go make sure he's
He
okay.
looks like he's feigning that he can't be bothered, but he's not doing the best job of it. So this person introduces themselves as Diana Didier. And she lets you know that Alzina needed rest, that she could not continue, and there was a small group of us, and we grew up trying to make this a better place, and she asked if I would stay, if I would help you, because she currently can't. She apologizes, and then she kind of looks at Belinda and she said, and then I knew that my godmother was here, so I had to come. The fates have foretold it. And she sits down and she looks at you and she says, so what are we doing?
It's a very good question.
What time is it right now? Is it?
You guys traveled, so you can sleep the night and leave in the day.
All right.
But she's very curious about what your plan is.
Well, I'm curious about what the forest has to say.
The forest.
Torin.
When we when we first got to town, our separate ways and examined and
You split up.
Split up and wandered around.
That's rule number one. You never go alone.
Well, I went to help.
Don't split the party.
She kind of looks at you and laughs, but
I didn't have anything better to do, so I went to go help the farmers in the fields. I wasn't alone. I was in town until, hey, you want to come and help? And just working out near the edge of the fields, and
what did you see?
I didn't see anything. I heard a voice.
What did you hear?
I was just trying to get my attention.
Make me a perception check.
That is lightning outside.
Yeah, I just saw it.
You hear the thunder, it's there.
It's not me.
10.
Looking at her, like her eyes are gold, like they. So like when she asks questions, they kind of shimmer. So it's very much like she is asking you questions, and she just is absorbing information, as you are talking, but she doesn't stop asking questions. What did it smell like? What plant was near? Were there footprints?
No.
Did the voice follow you when you left?
It tried to. As I was walking away, it tried to get me to turn around, but I didn't.
Was it friendly?
I don't know. You said, don't go alone. I was alone. I wasn't going to go confront a strange spirit in a strange land.
She looks at you and she grabs you by the arm and she walks you out into this. It's cloudy, but the moon is just coming up. And she stands you right out in the middle of, like right in front of where the, where Robert's, gosh, I can't think what you would call where you put horses. All of a sudden, all I could think, barn, stable. All I kept going was your horse kennel.
Ooh, I like that
Like,
name.
good Lord, my
actually.
brain
Or a
just-
horse house.
I can tell I have not worked today because my brain is like, I haven't started. But right in front of the stable, I almost forgot it again. And
we suck here all night.
yeah, well, I'm on a brain gut. And she turns you around, and everyone can make me first an Arcana check, and then if you score a 15 or better, you can't do it, Torn, because you can't look behind you. 15 or better, and then if you get that, you can make me a perception check.
Well, that's unfortunate.
That's an 18.
Dang it, my amulet of the arcane.
17 on Arcana, and then I make perception.
Yes.
All right.
I got a 21 on Arcana, which is great, but then I got a 6 on Perception.
No.
So, not great.
Well,
You feel that there's something there, but you can't see it.
Cool.
I got a 9 on the Arcana check, so I'm SOL.
16 on perception.
What did you get on your perception?
Like a 9.
Okay.
I rolled real bad.
So Balder, you
We're doing it
see,
together.
Yay!
I mean, you all perceive there's something magical radiating off of the back of Torn's armor.
Cool.
Like off of him. And you can feel it almost blooming off of him, but it definitely, whenever the moonlight hits it, there is a very distinct resonance. You look and you see strange scrawlings across his back, as if something very tiny has written.
Like on my clothes, like my armor?
Yep.
My scale mail?
Mm-hmm.
You have to get up really close to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like minuscule.
He'll like kind of put a hand on Torrent's shoulder, and be like, "Hold still, buddy."
Even if you try to brush it off, it remains.
No, he's like to just be like, "Hold still while I try to read this." And I'll try to read it.
It's what are your languages?
Abyssal, Common, Elvish, Giant, and Vidal.
You look at it, and you're like, I don't know how to. I don't know what this is.
I do not know what this is.
Do you want to point it out to anyone else?
Sure, yeah. Hey, can anyone read whatever language this is?
Alright, so I know deep speech and druidic.
You and Diana both can take a look at it with Druidic, and you can get bits and pieces of things. This is, even with your Elvish together, the three of you are able to put together that this is some type of Fey inscription, but it's old. I mean, it is beyond old. This is Dawn War time period. This is a language prior to language. So you're not sure what it means.
Does it look new? Like the writing? Does it look like it's newly on the armor? Like it's been there forever? Okay.
And she steps back and puts her hand over her mouth and kind of gasps.
You want to share with the class?
She said, "You've been Fey marked."
Is that good or bad?
That
What is bad?
That sounds
exactly?
bad. Is that bad?
I don't know.
You spoke with the forest. There's things in the forest. There's the Fey, the first people. They marked you. I don't know what it means. I wish I did. It usually when it happens, people they go. They go into the forest and they don't come back.
Way to trailblaze there, Tony.
Alright, we can do the first part.
We
will come back.
It's no one knows what it means. I've been trying to figure out. I call out to the forest often, and I don't know what it means. Sometimes the forest responds, but not like that.
I'm more curious than I was before now.
But I want to know.
You can come.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the agreement I made with Alzina that I would go with you and I would keep you safe. It's the least I can do. I mean, you helped us so much, and the rumor is that you're going to help us more. I mean,
that's the plan,
just
right?
a rumor, but not many time. It hasn't been very many times that we had people just who look like you, no offense, come into town.
We get that a lot.
That's I imagine so. I mean, and I want to know more. I'm not bound and determined to stay all my days here.
We ain't in a hurry, but I know I'd like to know more.
Where I'm from, the Fae come in many different flavors, different perspectives, different alignments. Are they good or bad here? Because it seems like a lot of gray area.
I have never dealt with them. I could not tell you. All I can do is say that what I have heard is that they take what they want.
Oh, that seems on brand.
That's all I know. They are not with the. They do not sit in alignment with the fact that we, and she kind of uses the we in quotation, took festival worship of the go to the woods. That's not a manifestation of who they are. But it's what we did before, and it's what's continued until recently. And they also don't seem to be real excited about the fact that we had a priest from somewhere come and build a monument, again quotations, monument to a god that none of us believed in. But also that's not what I believe in, so who am I to say? I think that the land does what the land wants, and that the Fae are an extension. I speak to the land, though, so my feeling is that somehow, indirectly, I'm speaking with them. Or at least that's what I hope.
I think it's a reasonable correlation. It would align with what I've experienced in my travels.
So, my feeling is that why not reach out? They obviously want to speak to you.
That's the plan, isn't it?
It works for me.
Yeah.
Much as you've been avoiding it, I hate to tell you this, not doing so might make more problems.
I wasn't avoiding it. I was
Weren't you
waiting.
though? A little, just
Waiting
a
to go
skosh,
and
darling.
waiting
Just
until I
this.
could get the group together.
He just wants a little backup.
I don't trust anything that comes out of places like that.
Well, we have that in common, don't we?
I'm not going to rush in blind.
Well,
Which Simon?
It's getting flashy outside.
probably wouldn't hurt to rest up before we head out.
Please,
Try again in the morning.
please.
Yeah, let's not go at night.
That would be best.
I feel like going
Well,
out at night would be bad.
I feel like before you retire, I have questions, and I don't know if anyone wants to sit up and talk, but I'm very, very, very intrigued by who you are, where you come from, and what you can do.
you have to rest because you have exhaustion.
Yep.
Are you still exhausted?
Oh yes.
I'm
and
not.
much as
I
I'm
can
a-
stay up and chat. That's
I can
fine.
stay up
Much
and
as I
chat.
am a story weaver, like girls gotta sleep.
Yeah. No. Because even if you're getting a full night's rest, you're only getting one off, not two. So yeah, I
Well,
can stay
and
up.
Doesn't it come from the fact that I have my decreased strength? So would I even get
Oh,
my
no, you
exhaustion
wouldn't get any
Yeah,
back
I wouldn't
then.
get any
Oh,
back at
crap.
all.
I have the
Yours
same
is-
problem.
But I
Yours
would
is-
get. I
but
would
yours-
get my
is yours
spells
'cause of
and stuff
encumbrance,
back,
though?
No, mine's not because of encumbrance.
Oh, so yours could still recover.
Mine's because I something went foobar in the last session.
I got
Yeah.
cursed. I got hit with like a cursed
Yeah.
weapon or something. I can't remember exactly. What
Since
happened.
yours is because you're encumbered, you can't get
Okay.
yours
Yeah.
back. But
So I'll take a long rest then.
I mean, we should
Hopefully.
all take turns resting. But
So,
while we're taking watch, we can talk with her.
Yeah. That's
well,
fair.
she won't stay up the entirety of the night, but
She doesn't need sleep.
she will give she produces a draft that she's willing to share that will help you sleep. She asks you if you have had poor dreams, poor night's sleep since you've been here.
You can say that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we've really talked about it to each other, but it's fairly obvious.
All of you as well?
Yell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a killer headache.
So, it's not uncommon. So sometimes you can indulge in this, but I would not make it a habit. So she willingly leaves a gourd, a hollowed gourd of liquid.
Didn't we have some of this last time we rested or something similar?
Nope, we were just sleeping normal.
They talked about it in the house with like all the potions. There were like little
okay.
vials of it.
Belinda
So we
Vin-
talked about it.
Belinda
that's
Vin
what
said
it
she
was.
could make
That's what it
something.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was after our night of horrible sleep.
Yes.
The
But
real
we
ba-
had
the real bad
we haven't
night.
actually had any
Okay,
of
that's
it.
what I knew. I did.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So she asks questions nonstop for about 2.5 hours. When you talk about being from a different world, she is extremely fascinated and seems to be enthralled by the prospect of not being here.
I'm also enthralled by the prospect of not being here.
Samesies.
And you have this conversation inside Robin's house.
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
But Diana expresses the fact that when this is over, when you leave, she plans on leaving with Caro and Belinda as well. She has no interest in staying in Belknap's Fields. She's like, I'm just not going to stay here and end up marrying someone just to bear children, and I'm not going to stay and just defend a town that just is eventually going to rot on the vine because it doesn't grow. And honestly, there's an entire world out there, or worlds out there, that I want to see. I don't have a whole lot else holding me here, and if my only relative is leaving, or somewhat relative is leaving, then there's no reason for me to stay. My friends and I are all old enough, we've started to part our own ways. And they've begun to form their own relationships and pair off. And Alzina and I were the only two who haven't. And she seems to be fixated on your terrible axe-throwing friend currently. I don't have anything here. So if you're going somewhere else, I want to go somewhere else.
Do you just want to go to New Prudence, or are you looking to get off this world completely?
New Prudence is a start, but I've read there's places, there's Rishamalot to the south, there's Svalterheim to the north, Lamordia to the north. There's entire countries and cities and people, different cultures, different races, different societies. I want to see these things. I want to study these things. The land is not like this everywhere else. It's not dying. It's not slowly being drained of its vitality.
True story, but well, I mean, we can talk about that after we find a way out. First step, we gotta see what the forest has to say. That's what everybody's telling us.
And now, why would I not want to see a world that is simply a city? A metropolitan place where everything works, in, at least on the surface, in some sort of chaotic harmony.
You ever had to pay rent?
Well, I have had to dig in fields. I've had to defend the walls. I've had to help the fields grow in order to make sure that I could live.
You got there too.
So I guess I paid rent in a way. I have marketable skills.
It's different, I'll give you that, but it's not all it's cracked up for me.
So at the end of the night, she says her farewells. She heads back to Caro's wagon that's bigger on the inside. It appears she'll stay there for the night. Anything anyone wants to do during the...
Yeah, Balder, once everyone's sort of settled down for the evening, Balder's gonna just take a seat outside. Are we going to the house or what?
I assume so, yeah.
Go to the house.
Rabbit still has you where he's actually had... He and his wife have moved things around in their house so you have room to sleep.
All right.
No, it'd be rude not to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Balder will kind of go around back of the house, nowhere in particular, kind of just sit up against the wall. He'll bring out Balder's tear, and
You hear a plodding set of footsteps.
is it Boris?
Kind of a grunt.
Boris!
Hey Boris, how you doing?
Kind of grunts and blows at you and kind of pushes so it sits reasonably close to you.
Good talk. Well, once Boris sort of settles down,
Doesn't take much.
Balder will he'll produce Balder's tear, and he'll kind of look at it, notice how it's changed, and he'll just sort of start talking to it. He'll say, well, so rumor has it that all the gods that used to live here can't talk to this place anymore. How come I can still talk to you?
There's always a way in. tiniest shred, Balder. You are the shred. I can push my way in. And that's how I find you. That's how I find this. And that's how the fun begins.
Anyway, you might be able to use that.
No.
Cool. Good talk.
You're two
This
good
is-
talks tonight.
This is almost as much fun for me as it is for you. The only thing that's satisfying about it is the gloves are off here. No rules. Who cares?
Never been much of a gloves guy myself, anyway.
And you don't have anyone to answer to, Balder.
Not even you.
Well, we all answer to someone. But I look at this as a symbiotic relationship. I provide you with the hammer, you swing it. Over and over and over again. We both win. No one bothers you at the end. You get what you want.
Had a dream about you the other night.
Well, I am quite the looker.
Yeah.
Gross.
Felt like I might want something a little different, but we'll see how it
Are you stepping out on me, Balder? Because that would be a bad idea.
That was great.
I'm just saying that
We have an agreement.
yeah.
I do for you, you do for me.
All right.
Let's not break what doesn't need to be broken.
Yeah. Well. Cool. Well. Glad we had this talk. I'm glad
Good time.
that you can't help me at all. And I'm gonna go to
Hey.
bed.
All I can tell you is I'm just as stuck as you are. This place is a barrier. So what you're seeing and what you get from me is what I have to offer.
Well, I mean, that's how it's always worked, and I appreciate that. If you find out anything else, you let me know.
Well, let's just say I'm always working all sides of the deal.
Sure are.
Oh, I do know one thing you're probably going to want to know.
What's that?
Well, remember your friend from back on Ravnica?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made it here as well.
Made it where you are.
Oh, no.
Wait,
He's here as well.
which friend?
Oh, your buddy who put you in this situation to begin with.
Really?
Information's not hard to come by if you look hard enough.
What's he up to?
Probably the same thing you are, trying to figure it out.
Do you know where he is?
Well, from what I can gather, from my reach, is he's trying to flee this country or land or whatever it is.
Yeah. Seems like the choice hobby around these parts.
There's something called a train.
Train.
It's in a place called New Prudence. But I don't know if he's going south or north. But I know he's going.
You think he's there? You think he's in New Prudence right now?
That would be my guess.
All right.
If you were from Ravnica and from other worlds and could do the things that he could do, could shape metal the way he could, and was adept at negotiating people into doing his work for him, wouldn't you be looking for the next place to go in your attempt to get home or to find a way to get out of here, this mousetrap?
Yeah, kind of what we'd probably be doing if we could stop getting chased by swamp people.
I think it has less to do with swamp people, Balder, and more your desire to help swamp people.
Yeah, I ain't crawling into no wells anytime soon.
I would just say, remember who you're dealing with, because he had no compunctions about selling you down the river before. And I don't think he has any compunctions about doing it again.
Probably not, but well, thanks for that. It might be nice to pay him a visit.
Well, when we both look, when we both think about it, we both owe this Tezzeret the same. He stuck us both here.
Yeah, I think you'll like how I'm planning to settle the score.
I think I'm gonna love it.
All right. Nod, buddy.
Oh, night.
Right. Balder will.
When you start talking to the hammer, Boris moves away from you, like actively. He gets up and
Solid plan.
Yo, this is weird.
He's like, I thought we were gonna have a
perception
cuddle.
check.
Just wants a cuddle.
8.
Okay. Anyone else want to do anything before they go to bed?
Allie will, as everybody's kind of settling
Be careful,
in,
that will break.
That's glass.
as everybody's kind of settling in, she'll pull out her violin
Okay.
and just start quietly playing Song of Rest.
Awesome.
Everybody in earshot gets 4 points of your HP back.
Very cool.
I can't believe that Tezzerat's going to take the midnight train going anywhere.
This is not the Georgia.
I'm good.
Roya?
No. Bad.
All right. Everyone going to take the draft?
Yeah.
The draft? Is it drought? I can't even remember how you say it.
Draft.
Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
You take it. You sleep. You don't dream at all. It's just black.
That's good, actually.
Hey.
You
Take
wake
it.
up and it's an odd feeling. It's a feeling of rest but emptiness. You feel like you feel loss. Like you slept but you missed something.
So it wasn't
Descent
restful?
into madness.
No, I mean it was restful. You got everything back. You just feel like you did not get sometimes it's you feel that creative burst from rest, or you feel that you feel lively. Here you feel just
Sort of.
like my body's rested, my mind is not tired, but it's just kind of
Sort of.
there.
Empty.
Yeah.
All right.
But there's no exhaustion or any
No.
bad effects. Okay.
Diana asked you about how you slept.
There were no dreams, but
Yeah. Nothing.
Side effect.
I definitely feel off.
A little bit. Yeah.
Food.
Kind of weird. Food.
You need to eat.
Yeah, it's breakfast time.
That will help.
All right.
Like I said, this is something you can use periodically, but do not make it an every night thing. Loses its potency as well as becomes addictive. I've also heard it begins to do the opposite of what it's intended to do if used too much.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
All right. Yeah, Balder will get up and we'll look around, see if anyone's making breakfast.
She says, I believe you have a book. that Belinda had that actually shows you the ingredients and how to make this drink.
I thought it was just a book of the
Local
plants
flora
and, local
and fauna.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
It's good.
Be careful with it.
So, but she says, yeah, be very, very wary of that. It's one of those things you don't want to mix wrong.
Well, I'm not an alchemist, so I won't be mixing any of these things.
I can help you out with that part.
The mixing of potions it's not for not to be done lightly. Yeah. So setting off in the morning, you head out of the walls, Belknap's fields. Through the fields themselves, you leave, I'm assuming, early. Rabbit and Agnes, they actually pack you some extra food to take with you. And then you leave with the farm workers into the fields. When they continue and they hit the end of the fields, you walk the extra 20 to 30 feet to the edge of the forest, clearing area where the forest actually begins.
I'll just take him right to where I was standing. This is the spot. I didn't go any further than this. And it came from in there.
Do you hear anything now?
No.
I may as well call out to it to see if it'll respond.
Kind of look around and it's kind of like visual, sort of make eye contact with everybody, sort of like running it by everybody where it's not like wordlessly. Like, yeah, we ready?
Yep,
Ready just
ready.
in case something happens.
So it's very brambly at the beginning here. A lot of dead limbs and trees and bush. But there's surprisingly a lot of living hardwood trees in this area. Everything's packed rather tightly. Diana, being relatively small, agrees to take the lead in things because she says she can basically pass through a lot of this really easily. She says, be smart, don't cut anything down that doesn't need to be cut, don't damage anything that doesn't need to be damaged. Agreed?
Yep.
I'm gonna keep all my weapons sheathed just so don't accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my bow out. I guess before you step in, I'll call out to the spirit. Spirit, you spoke to me once before, and you've marked me. I've come back.
You,
present.
you don't
Speak.
hear anything. You look up. It's cloudy. You can see the sun, or what you think is the sun, coming up, and the moon still hangs just barely in the sky. It's that early in the morning. So you make your way into the forest.
I want to call the mastiffs to be near me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Balder's gonna use mage armor, and he'll have Balder's Tear out.
Okay. You're able to kind of move through and
Found a fairy.
pretty easily, and you find yourself at a actual stream. You didn't know it was there, and this is after about an hour going into the wood.
Like, how are we oriented to it? Are we like perpendicular to it or parallel?
You would be perpendicular to it. And about that time, it just starts to rain.
I don't. Hang on.
Okay, I have a ranger ability that affects moving through difficult terrain for the whole party, but I don't know if that's just in my favorite terrain or not.
It starts to rain. There's no wind, but definitely, it's you can if you stay underneath the tree cover, you can stay relatively dry. The stream is probably about 10 feet across altogether. You can probably wade through it. But Diana's opinion is like, maybe we wait this out. This seems slightly odd because I didn't know there was a stream here.
Could take a cue from the woods and wait if we need to.
A stream.
She says, wait out the rain.
Oh. I mean, I guess we could do that. Yeah. You know this forest better than we do.
Kind of.
How much have you been in the forest?
This forest, a little bit. The forest to the south, a lot more.
Okay.
Well, we should at least get a gauge up and down the stream a little way in both directions.
Yeah, we should at least take a look around. Balder's going to use speech of beast and leaf to see if the forest knows anything about the Fey presence we're looking for.
Okay, what are you speaking with?
Trees around the stream.
Roll initiative.
Oh, shit.
Sorry to wake you up.
What did you do?
Everybody?
Yeah.
Oh boy, alright.
Wow. Sweet.
Maybe they're not hurting us. Maybe they're just
So I'm gonna go
warning
last.
us.
I got a 6.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I got 3.
16.
11.
I was writing this down previously, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Noise.
Hey, I see a tree. Fight it.
Screw you, tree!
Screw you, tree!
I never talk to the trees again.
Alright, go around the table and tell me what everybody's got again.
Trees are jerks.
Are you gonna just put it up there?
Yeah.
I
Where?
have damn it. I have a something. I have a 14.
I have a 14. You're going before me.
Okay.
6.
Oh,
Put him towards the end.
Torin is
Yeah.
going at the end.
No,
I
he's
got a
not.
real bad roll.
Oh no.
Oh, core.
What'd you do, Core?
3.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
I didn't know how you
Alder?
do that.
16.
Well, I rolled a 2 and I have a 1.
Allie?
Allie?
11.
So right there. Perfect.
Alright,
Tiefling in the middle.
Oh, sorry. I have an 8. So it's not that much better,
You're
but
same spot.
okay.
Didn't move.
I thought I
Hey,
had
nothing
+2 initiative. I have a
changes.
+4 initiative.
you start to talk, reach out, and
I want to see
peeling.
these cards that are laying in. They're real creepy. So I'm saying, don't show them. I don't want to see them.
Peeling out of the branch of the trees themselves.
Can I pass them?
Yeah, that's fine. You can pass them. I just need it back.
Just don't read the back of it.
Blightos.
Heights.
Vine,
gross
needle,
ants.
twig.
I hope they're not secretly plants.
That's what
Well, if
say
they
that's
are,
right,
just
yeah.
let them on fire.
I don't know if you wanted to see
Can't
them
do
or not.
that.
I can.
Do you want?
Great.
Do you want Doug to see them?
I have
Ugh.
fire breath.
Do you want to show them through the camera?
No, no,
No.
you don't get to see them. Sorry.
They ugly.
You
That's
have,
all you need
you're
to
on a
know.
computer. Use Google.
Ugly. Well, Ben doesn't say the name of them.
Well, you're not supposed to be aware of them.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
All
So you
right.
can't Google them. That's what I'm saying.
So,
Oh, if you want to Google them, they are twig blights, needle blights, and vine blights. I am trusting my player characters to.
Hold on, let me Google
I
that.
have
No, I'm not
Google in
gonna-
my brain.
I'm not going to Google that.
All right, so
Remember
Balder,
that crap?
yeah. Where are they?
They're creeping out of the forest upon you. They're all within striking distance. You see that there are 4 of the little ones.
The little ones.
Okay. 4.
4 twigs.
Oh no, we're gonna hurt Groot.
I am Groot. No.
8
No.
This is evil. This
needle
is,
blights.
this is Venom.
Oh
Groot.
man.
Venom
This
Groot.
is
Symbiote Groot.
it's a thing.
and 6
Or
Just
was
vine
really
for a
blights.
little while, yeah.
Are
Ugh.
they all crowded together or
No, they're like where there's a tree.
They're surrounding us.
Yeah, they're
Great.
pushing you basically. They're surrounding you towards the banks of the
Great.
stream,
No.
Fire.
which is picked up
breath.
pace because there's enough of a rain.
Are they just on our side of the stream or on both sides? Just our side.
Make me a perception check.
I can't see what it is,
Just
but
Nate being Nate.
Nate says
Yeah.
no.
I can see
Well,
that's a
I
very
went
low
one
number.
higher. I rolled a 3.
Nope.
Well, hold on. That is.
You just noticed
an
nothing.
8.
So they
That's
are
still pretty
on
good. 8.
one side. Are we both on the same side
Yes,
of the
you are.
stream? How wide is the stream?
About 10 feet across.
Balder will cross the stream. Well, he'll try to jump across. The
Don't
stream.
cross
Don't cross the
Just be
streams.
careful, man. Be careful.
It's just one stream, it's not multiple. And
I'm just saying,
then
if we don't know what's in it,
does he make it to the other side of the stream, or does it eat him or something?
is there a fucking gross
Make me a perception check
tentacle
before you jump.
thing in the?
Oh man! All right.
Are we getting like trash compactor monster?
Natural 20.
Oh.
Nice.
Take a new card. It's raining really hard,
Where's James in the horn when we need him?
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
so the shores are enough melty on both sides that the landing will be interesting. Also, there's like a looking through this hard rain. The other side of the shore is really hard to get a read on, but you can by all means make that acrobatics
Are
check.
they like muddy or sandy?
Yeah, well, it's like if you've ever seen where one has dug through and then it's
Sure, it's like
sunk
a-
low and then you've got a little bit of the embankment.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
underneath.
eroded.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but now it's raining really hard, so it's just
like muddy.
yeah, and it's got picked up pace quite a bit.
Acrobatics 23.
Whoa.
You jump across easily, you land, and you start to slip, and you pull yourself up. You look back, and you don't see a stream nor your compatriots.
Whoa.
You are in a glade, and there is a soft, gentle rain, misty rain on your face. Everything's a slightly more vibrant. It is, however, night out, and the moon is shining brightly upon you.
It shouldn't be night, right?
No, it was the morning.
Yeah, we left early.
Dude,
And if I walk,
cross the stream.
if I move back,
Maybe
since
we should cross the street.
if I move
I
back,
don't know if we're gonna go to
does
the
it?
same
Do
place
I
that
like?
is, though.
Better
Like
than
if he
most things.
tries to turn around and like go back to where he came from, does
There's just glade there.
there's just glade?
How will the
Well, Balder will.
Also, you don't hear your maul at all.
Oh, really? That's. But I have it. I just don't hear it.
Normally, you can hear sometimes some chuckling or
Yeah.
comments,
Yeah.
or at least feel
Yeah,
the
yeah.
presence there.
Oh, yeah. But it's physically there.
Yeah, it's in your
Okay.
hands.
Oh, this is great.
Never
Balder
leaving.
will call out. He'll just yell, "Across the stream, everybody!" And then he'll be real glad he did. And I guess did he see anything out of the ordinary in the glade?
Just you see what looks like maybe fireflies in the tree line. It smells unbelievable.
Like good, unbelievable. Okay,
It's just really
well, nice.
very nice.
Yeah, Balder will just continue to take a look around and hope some folks follow his lead.
All right, on your turns, you can all make me a perception check to see if you hear the faint call of Balder as he jumps across into the rain, and you can't get a good read on where he landed or if he landed on the other side. Roy, you're up.
I'll make my perception check. I critted.
Take a blue card.
Yeah.
You hear Balder say to jump across the stream.
I'm gonna tell the dog we're jumping across then.
Okay, they'll follow you. I mean, actually, they just will float over.
I'm
almost.
thinking, yeah. I'm hoping
Acrobatics check.
maybe they can like give me like a little air womb for something across.
No, they won't.
No? One can hope. I rolled the 19 that time.
I thought you rolled a 20 again. I was
That would have been great!
Dang.
Dice is doing well. Thank
I
you!
found one.
Someone had to have one.
It had to
Send them-
happen.
24.
like you land and you superhero land and you look up and there's Balder and you're not where you were at all and your dogs are gone.
Oh, bye, doggies.
Oh
Good
no.
boys.
This is different.
Everything.
Balder
is-
overspelled on his turn.
The grass is extremely soft. Everything's
Is
very
this normal?
fragrant.
Is this...
But it's nighttime and there is a massive full moon in the sky glowing down upon you.
We didn't leave at night. This is weird, isn't it?
Well, Baldur's Tear, by the way, does emit 20 feet of light.
Your light is
Does
dim,
it?
but it's there. Alright, so Blights, all go.
Oh, yoinks!
Can Roy do the same thing
Nikes.
Balder did on her turn and just yell for them to jump
I
across?
don't like
You know when you
this.
could have done that was when you were on the other side
I
of the
know.
street.
Well, I'm hoping maybe if we both said it, they'll definitely show up.
So
like
when,
an echo,
when
it's
you
like,
guys roll perception,
Oh yeah,
you'll roll with advantage.
because I
Okay.
yeah, my crit my perception. I should have told you guys then. Damn it! Not thinking.
We'll go Twiggies first.
Are the dogs on their side, or they're just gone? Okay.
They just poofed.
They poofed.
Poofy puppies.
2 on
So
Torin.
if they were over there, they could help you.
Oh, that's a 13.
Oh, miss. Yep.
Alright. 1 on Core.
Roll that low again. Did you
Oh,
roll
no.
15 or above?
What do you think I rolled?
Did you
Roll a
crit?
frickin'
Did.
20. Of course he did. Look at that. Look at that. That
All right.
fiendish
Smiling.
Go ahead and murder me.
grin.
No.
That fiendish
No.
grin.
If you're gonna take a crit, taking it from a Twig Blight, not so
Oh,
bad.
it's a
Okay.
small one. All right.
He's just a little guy.
Oh, wait,
Don't kill my danger noodle.
I'm immune to twigs because I'm a druid.
Damn! Throw the shot.
Wood can't hurt me. Anything made of wood. Immune.
What do you
Take
got?
you take
Arrows.
8 damage. All
Doesn't
right.
matter.
8 piercing. Oh, you know what? Remove one of those on you because they need to attack Diana. They miss on her. Allie. Ooh, Allie. 16.
16. Pretty sure that hits. Yeah.
4, 5.
Okay.
That's the Twiggies. There's what, 4 of you over there. So then we'll be with the needles. There was 6.
I think she just has like a sliver. She's like, ow! That really hurts.
I'm gonna take a needle to that later. Yeah.
You little dick.
So Torn gets 2 of the needles, and so does Diana. So
Come at me.
they're gonna go.
Don't encourage them.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Already-
fire. They're gonna fire needles at you from afar.
I have fire resistance as a.
No. Fire as in pew 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 pew
Man,
pew.
wow, that was dumb. I'm really
20?
excited to breathe fire on these guys.
20 hit you?
Over ahead of myself. Yeah, 20 hits. Of course.
Yeah.
You're like,
For
no.
9,
Pew, 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 pew.
they miss
I'm
Diana.
so stupid.
1 on
It's the same
Core.
word.
It's
Miss.
dumb.
1 on Allie. 17.
Oh my god.
Oh god,
Yeah,
yeah,
you hit 16,
that hits.
so.
Full show.
For
Oh,
eight.
that was not a good face.
This does a lot of damage.
Can I have it?
These needles do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant the dice.
No.
I'm gonna die.
I don't want
Know
that.
how much.
I want to steal any dice that are rolling well.
That backfired when I did it though.
Once
True.
more,
I was gonna play with it. I
Light
was just
missiles.
gonna put it out of its reach.
All right. So
How much damage?
8 altogether.
Okay. For just that attack.
Yeah, that's all they got on you. One of the vine blights is going to cause basically an entangling area effect on the edge of the bank. So if you make an acrobatics check, you're going to make it a disadvantage, and if you don't do well, you're going to get entangled. So you're going to... We'll get to that when we get to it. I'm going to make some changes on that side. The other two are going to make constricting attacks. Let's see who they attack. That'd be Core and the Alley. So Core, that's a miss. And Alley, that's a miss. So
Sweet.
you see them snap out vines, and you're just able to move away. All right, so let's go around and make your perception checks first. Alley, you're up.
Okay. And I have advantage.
You
right?
have advantage to whether you heard them or not. So you
That's
two...
an 11. Oh, that's real bad. That's 6. So we'll go with the 11.
Yeah, it's so loud you're not hearing much of it. And the fact that you're kind of overwhelmed at the moment.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do?
Did she see us disappear at least?
It's raining so hard, it's hard to see across.
Okay.
Allie would like to cast Dissonant Whispers
Okay.
on probably the one that dealt her more damage.
Perfect.
Okay. So that is, you whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of your choice within range. Yeah. No, she's... It's like, no, it's Rock Lobster. That's all it is. Just over and over and over again.
Oh.
But
Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Which is great, but after the 7th time, it might be a little much.
That tree's gonna kill me. So failed save. Target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6
Failed.
psychic damage.
It's not a lot they can do there, so that's a massive failure.
Damn. Okay.
So give me them damages.
So he's gonna take 3d6 psychic damage.
My notes.
That's a 5. That's a 5. That's a 2.
Yeah. It just explodes.
Woo!
Alright.
Yeah, what? I made your mom my violin, bitch! No.
Whoa! Damn.
Oh, damn.
She pissed. No.
Damn.
No.
We're to Torin now.
Roll your perception check.
They're both 11s. So 15.
You hear the voice of your allies saying, "Jump the stream." Do sick tricks.
Before,
Sick stunts.
can I do some stuff before I jump across?
Time to do some sick stunts, man.
Can I do some things before I jump across?
What are you thinking about doing?
I want to try and call. Well, I want to try and call it to the spirit again to see if it again like.
I'll let that go.
You were.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What the fuck?
Yo!
Here. You know, like I've.
Call out to the spirit in the sky.
Spirit in the sky.
So I can't. I can't like attack or anything.
Well, if you're gonna attack, you. Yeah.
Okay. I want to try and use my flame breath on as many of these blights as I can.
Roll me a d4.
It's a cone, right?
Yeah, it's a cone.
Yeah, 15 foot. 1.
That's what you can get.
Oh my god.
Can't always get what you want.
Sometimes you get what you need.
If I can
Sometimes
only
you don't.
It's turning into like music trivia tonight.
if I can only hit one, I guess I'll pass.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll make the jump across the river. No, and as I'm gonna jump, can I alert everybody else? Like, get over here.
Get over here.
Basically.
Yes. Now you need to make me an acrobatics check.
Okay.
You're going to do that.
Go.
Before you do it,
Okay.
make a DC strength saving throw. Excuse me.
Of course. Of course, I'm making.
You're real good at strength, right?
Not now. I have a -2.
Usually.
Usually I'm all right.
I got an 8.
You are restrained.
Oh, cool. So I don't make the jump.
No. In fact,
Awesome.
make me a dex saving throw.
Okay, this might be a little better. It's not. I'm gonna use my inspiration for this.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna try again. I have a 20, a dirty 20.
Okay. You start to run. You're starting to move into wet, slick mud, and you jump, and the vines reach up and they grab you.
Cool.
And the next thing you realize is you are slamming against the embankment,
Mhm.
and your head is underwater. And you pull yourself up and go, and you realize, man, I could drown if I'm not careful here, and I'm kind of hanging upside down, and these things are starting to try to crush me and pull me in.
Fun.
But you did get to the yellow, which is good. Core.
Alright. Well, what I was gonna do is nope the fuck
Oh,
out of
yeah,
here.
Diana will go last.
But he's already shouted to everyone to cross the stream,
Across the streams.
but he's now stuck.
He's stuck.
Yeah.
Good hope.
But I am across the stream.
No, you're
No,
on this side.
You are not. You are on the
Same
wrong side.
team, Nate.
Does your little card help you out at all?
No, that helps my save.
Okay.
So I could just leave and have him die. That seems like a horrible idea. Alright, I'm gonna call lightning. That's my new 3rd level spell.
Ooh.
Fancy pants.
And
Fancy
it
pants,
is
Nate.
storming, so it's extra fun.
Yo, lightning, you up?
Alright.
So we're gonna do ours together, Nate.
Hmm?
You feel a hand on your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and you turn and look. Diana stands right next to you, and she casts Thunder Wave at the same time.
Oh.
Oh, I
Alright.
so want to chime into this.
Thunder power!
Alright, so a storm cloud appears in the shape of a cylinder that's 10 feet tall with a 60-foot radius centered on a point I can see 100 feet directly above me. I'm just going to center the storm on me. Let's see. So when I cast a spell, choose a point you can see within range. Each creature within 5 feet of that point must make a dex save. So that point, I'm going to choose wherever I can get the most tree dudes. The largest tree dudes.
Okay. You do that, and what I also want you to do is decide after that what you want the Thunder Wave to look like. And then you can roll that as well.
Alright.
I forgot that that's like a first level vocation spell.
Thunder
It
Wave?
is, and it-
Thunder Wave's amazing.
Yeah,
And it basically,
and
it's just like,
she's casting it at 3rd.
it's like a force wave out from where we are, right?
Yeah.
Basically goes,
You pick a spot.
poof.
Yeah,
Goes
and it creates like a.
Is it pick a spot or from her?
I believe when you get to that level, you can push it.
Okay. Well, we'll choose a spot in the same.
No, you can pick a spot. It doesn't necessarily.
Can you?
have to
We'll
make-
we'll choose the same point that
you
I'm
do that?
putting the lightning.
No,
So
it's out.
basically-
It's out from you. I was wrong. I was right. It's the very first sentence.
All right.
Spell.
That's
I was
what.
gonna say I always pictured it as like someone going poof like this and then it.
And it's out in like a circle around us, right?
No, I think it's a cone.
No, it's a cube.
Oh, it's
Cube.
cube.
Okay.
Sorry, cube. But there still would be in front of you then.
Yeah. So basically, it's like a wall of force emanating out from us, like pushing all the rain away. So I'll roll my call lightning first. Basically, trying to get all the big dudes. So that is
Made a good noise. Ooh.
16 and 23 damage. So they all have to make a dex save.
Wow. That was a face.
That was a good. Yeah.
Beth said it was 11.
That was a good face for us.
Excellent. So that's 23 damage to every creature that I got with call lightning.
How many did you get?
However many. I
Roll a
got.
d8. You know what? Roll a d12. I'm feeling generous.
That's good. Because I only rolled a 3. That's a 9.
I will let you choose the numbers, how you want to disseminate that between. There's 3 different kinds of blights.
I want. How many of the biggest dudes were there?
There's 2 big dudes, needles and vines.
The vines, because I don't.
Okay.
The vines are not.
There's 4. There's 4 vines. There's 6 needle. There's 3 twigs left.
All right, so let's take the 4 vines, the 3 twigs.
The vines are all still there. They're hurt real bad,
Yeah.
but they're still there.
The 3 twigs,
3 twigs are gone. They're all dust.
and then 2 of the needles.
They're gone. The ones that you hit, the
Okay.
rest are still there.
Excellent.
Now, is that with or without the thunder wave?
That's without.
Okay,
Oof.
so what's Thunderwave at the level she cast?
Well, she's going to have to step forward 15 feet. So she doesn't get anybody friendly.
All right.
So she's going to miss the 2 vines
I'm sure Allie would appreciate that.
Yeah.
that are on the shore.
I mean, I'm not mad at it.
But she can get everybody else. They must make a con saving throw. They won't do. They take 4d8 damage and they're pushed 10 feet away.
Alright, so that's 15, 18.
Everything's dead except for the
The
2
thing she didn't
vine,
hit.
the 2 vine blights on the shore
Yeah.
The ones that have.
that caused the vine wall.
Okay. Are those the ones that have?
They're at full. Yeah.
The ones that have me
Have-
ensnangled.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Then that is all
Okay.
I have to do.
I mean, you could move if you want to.
I mean, I could run away now. But...
She's going to use her movement to
To
do
go.
the jump,
Okay.
and she critted.
Nice.
So I rolled a 20 and a 19.
Ooh,
Damn.
she's on a roll.
I would like to reach out and grab her ankle and pull her back to the ground. No, me first.
No, you should
No
just,
one makes it but me.
you should just grab it, try
No
to like
cuts.
get the momentum to pull you with.
Take me with
Take
you!
me with you.
And then you both die.
YOLO.
And we both drown.
I want to move over to where Torin is, but just standing outside of the vines that would ensnare me.
And point and laugh at me.
No.
I'm all wet now.
It's alright, you don't know.
It's raining.
It's
We're
raining.
all
You're gonna be wet
I
anyways.
just fell in the river.
You know where it's not raining?
The other side of the
Yeah,
lake.
where you-
Yeah.
So she
Valid.
falls through and lands like again perfectly, much like you did. And she turns around and looks back, and she's like, "We got to go back for them."
Yeah. Wait, I can't talk.
But she also looks and she says, "Where are we?" And then says, "We've got to go back for them." So she turns and starts to run, and
Where do you think she
has
came from?
she goes about 5 feet and realizes there's no water, and then goes, "Where? What's going on?"
I don't know yet.
Oh yeah, is it my turn now?
It is your turn.
Meanwhile, back in the glade. of
Meanwhile,
justice. I don't know where we are. Can't get back though. You I don't know what I don't know. How do you know to jump across?
you guys were yelling,
Oh, that worked.
and then
Score.
and then your dragon friend, he said to get across, and then he tried to jump across, but it didn't go very well.
Classic Torin.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
But I think he's fine. He just he'll be fine, right?
He's gotten out of worse. He's gotten out of worse.
Air quotes. It's
Air quotes.
fine.
It's fine.
It's probably
It's
probably
fine.
fine.
Probably
We're-
fine. We're all
It's
fine.
It's probably
How are you?
fine.
Yeah, so Balder will reassure Diana, and then he'll go. So there were like firefly-looking things somewhere. Just ambient fireflies, or like they look.
You want like mood lighting?
Well, it's like, well, I
He
mean,
said there was fireflies.
they look like
Oh.
firefly-like things.
You go
so
try to
it's
talk
like-
to the fireflies?
I wasn't sure if he would just. Yeah, I'll go over where the fireflies are.
I'm gonna go catch them since you're
Okay,
here.
you want to move over that way?
Yeah, you can move Up to 60 feet.
Just
He just
running
really
towards
likes
the butterflies at full tilt. Dragonflies at full tilt.
Anybody got a mason jar?
There's some fireflies over here!
Don't forget to put holes in it.
Don't kill the fireflies. That could be real bad.
One second. I was hoping it would.
Or is it more of like an ooh
That's why I'm
shiny
hoping they're not.
kind of moment? Like, ooh, shiny. Dragonflies.
Maybe they're tiny
Dragonflies.
fairies.
Fireflies. What's wrong with me today? The fourth time I've like said the exact like not the thing that I meant to say.
It's Monday.
Just the exact opposite. I don't have an excuse though. I didn't work.
It's some of the magic that can happen when you film in front of a live
It's the
studio
same reason.
audience.
Ben didn't work today either and having a hard time getting the
Just
brain
almost
going.
all
Yeah.
jumbled.
Or you're in character and it's the concussion you suffered when you hit the ground.
Yeah, I'm still like I had like a brush with
You
death.
move over to that edge of the clearing, and once you start to move over, you see like these ethereal lights moving away, but one stays behind.
Okay. Yeah, he'll approach it. The one that stays behind.
Okay. Critted.
Sort of guy.
You take
Oh, jeez. Is anything not trying to kill us?
And Balder was
No.
turned into a pile of ash.
All things are trying to kill
Like a
us.
cartoon pile of ash with like blinking eyes.
16 lightning damage.
Ouch!
Ow.
That must have hurt. It's all your like fur.
Yeah,
It's standing up on
crispy
it.
Oh my
now.
god.
Crispy.
Smells like burnt hair around here.
This
That's, yeah, gross.
tiny ball of light then turns into invisible. Turns into nothing. You can't see it.
Turns into invisible. I heard.
Yeah. It's kind of like when that time when I was like, make a basilisk check.
Oh, that was
I was
great.
just so
I
tired
was
now.
doing some roleplay with some friends once on the Old Republic, and somebody pursed their eyes.
Did I?
You need to like narrow your eyes and purse your lips. Purse their eyes.
Did I have to dash to get over there, or did I?
No.
Great. Then
About
I
30
will-
feet. About 25 feet to get
And I
over
don't
there.
see it anymore. I will then take the dodge action.
Okay. You notice that this area now is dark, but there's still light, and this surrounding this glade. Roya, what would you like to do? You see Balder walk over and just get the bejesus
Just
shot.
walk into one of those invisible dog fences.
Oh boy.
Went too far.
It's out of Roya's character because she's more of a science gal, but she knows she can't get back across. But she knows they're over there. So she's gonna kind of just plead to the nature around her to help them. She doesn't think it's gonna help, but
Nature doesn't give a shit about you.
just go help them, please.
You step by them through the veil. No one cares about what's on the other side. Soon you'll be one of us, and you won't care either. And then you can dance beneath the moonlight forever.
Hey, Balder!
Don't listen to
Balder,
that.
come back here for a second.
Well,
Don't listen to that.
Yo, dude, we gotta go.
All right,
Okay.
what do you? That's your turn.
Did you yell "Don't cross the stream"?
And now I'm wondering if I should.
Constrict on you.
I think I want all of you here with me to be tortured, though.
The one that's got a hold of you, Mike, is going to
We have
constrict
a better
you.
chance of not dying if you guys are here.
17.
17 damage.
No, 17 to hit.
Oh, okay.
It's got a hold of you, but it's got to hit you to
Is
constrict.
it? Is your AC 17?
Oh, it is 17.
So yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
you
just all
take
flustered today. I'm just no idea what's going on.
13 damage. Now make a strength check.
13 damage and strength check.
Oh gosh. Nat 20.
Nice.
No, okay.
Oh!
Take a card.
Take a card. You
And
press yourself out and start to burst through, which is good
Hey.
because it was starting to push your head underwater.
yeah, no thanks.
The other blight will rush one of you two.
Not me.
That was like
Thanks.
really nefarious.
I mean, sorry about it.
You're the one who frightened me, so.
Mm-hmm.
17?
No, yeah.
Oh, Nate, why do my dice just
Hey,
max damage 14?
They have memories. They're like elephants.
No.
They just know.
Make a strength saving throw.
love to. And then I'm going to use this card that I have because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it. That's 13.
13 gets it.
Okay,
You avoid being constricted.
good. Because I don't like that.
All right, Allie, you're up.
Yeah, it's not good.
Ellie's gonna cast Cure Wounds on herself because she's kind of squishy.
That's
So
fair.
otherwise she'd be helping you out. But she's gonna cast Cure Wounds. 1d8 plus 3. That is the wrong die. There we go. 3 for 5 for 6 points.
Okay.
So she's slightly less squishy now. She's a squishy half demon.
You're going to try to use your movement to...
Get the hell across.
Mm-hmm.
She looks torn about it for a minute. Because she legitimately doesn't know if she wants to, like, bail on everybody. She's not convinced it's the right way to go.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, like, I'm not, like, seriously, she's really, really torn about it.
You're getting rider and rider.
You don't know that, though, really.
She's,
Down.
against her better judgment, she's going to wait because she's seen him get hurt.
Okay.
So she's going to hold off and then try to help.
Okay, there's still 2 blights there.
Yep.
Torin,
Okay, so am I liberated?
You are.
Totally.
but you're in a real awkward spot, so you have to spend your movement to get up.
Oh, sure. Could I fire a bow from my position?
You can. You can.
Is one of the remaining blights within sight?
It's right there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, so melee range.
Oh, yeah, well, you can go say, you can smile.
Was it close enough
smile,
where I
you
don't have to roll a
SOB.
disadvantage with the bow?
I will say because of the bizarre angle you're at, you can definitely Roy Schreider it at the end of Jaws.
Okay, so just a regular. All right, I'm gonna take a shot with my bow at this thing. God. Okay. Well.
It's immune to
maybe
wood.
not.
That's what it sounds like on the
A
other
6.
side.
Jeez.
Serious.
I had
Yeah,
really bad. I got a
right?
6.
Its armor class is 5.
Everything's
Really?
better now. We're fine.
Oh, that'd be sweet. If it
Could
was,
be,
I'll
I mean.
take it.
Damn birds.
It stopped raining.
Yeah,
the
I
sun
only
came
have a
out.
6, Ben. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's not a 6, but it's not going to be.
Are you rolling a d20?
Yeah,
Okay.
He is.
but I
checked that.
rolled. I'm looking at the wrong thing. It is actually a 10.
10 is no. Do you have any? Do you want to use anything? Do you have a? I will give you a chip for doing weird shots.
Not cool. I'll take one back. Thank you.
So not just gonna...
It's all ruined.
Ruined.
You can just use that to reroll if you want to. But
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is up to you.
With only 2 of them left.
Correct.
I'm gonna save it. I don't want to use it.
That's fine. You still have to get across the stream.
Could I? So if I'm getting guys streaming to take an acrobatics check,
Yeah.
can I use the fortuitous circumstance card to just get across the stream?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
How did you do it?
It's got a nice, good running start. Jumped over. Torn's not much of a finesse guy. He's pretty to the point. He's just get a big old running jump. Get to the riverbank, grab onto a root or something that's sticking out, and pull myself up.
You do so, and you fly through and find you slide into this extremely soft grass. This grass is actually softer than probably 80% of the beds you've slept in.
Nice.
Especially since you've gotten off Ravnica. You look up and you see Roya drawing weapons and facing down the forest, and Balder stepping backwards, and he's got a big electrical singe mark on him. Diana goes to help you up.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to point at Balder and what happened there?
Don't trust the nature.
Tor will bring us to you.
Alright, so there's still the two dudes. They're pretty much right in front of me, right?
Yeah.
Are they within 10 feet of each other?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to use my action, pick a spot that's not going to hit me, but will hit both of them. And I'm going to roll my many dice.
Many dice.
I am calling the
My
lightning.
many dice.
I can do this for 10 minutes. Not quite all day. Just going to knock that over. So that's 17, 21 damage.
They're still there.
Come on. Yikes.
Jeez. But tough.
They are tough. That's a lot of damage. Alright.
They don't look good.
They're kind of smoldering a little bit.
To be fair,
They're smoldering a lot.
they never looked very good.
Alright, that is my turn.
Alright, top of the pop. We're in round 3.
Fight! Plus one to running commentary on the state of the glade. Balder will back up from the edge of the glade and turn around and be like, I don't know why I didn't. Balder would know what a will-o-wisp is. He hunted those things.
Make me a nature check with advantage, please.
Since we were partners and hunted a lot of things together, should I also make a check?
On your turn.
On my turn. Got it.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah, you're aware what these are.
Yeah, will-o-wisp. Just don't on my part. I thought it might be something different, but nope.
You do realize, though, what'd you get?
22.
You do realize that not all of those are will-o-the-wisp. Some of them are actual fireflies.
Yeah, it wasn't paying close enough attention. There's some will-o-wisps out there, so we might want to hang here till hopefully everybody comes across. Everyone seemed to get the gist.
Roya, you're up.
Okay. I'm on edge now. Got my weapon out. I'm gonna go backwards where I think the stream is a little bit and just see if, anything. Nothing?
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
God. That's the worst sentence you can say in this game.
Especially for me. I never rolled a 1.
What'd you roll?
I rolled
What'd you get?
a 1, but I'm going to use...
Oh, that's fine. I'll take that red card, please.
No!
Yeah, he still gets it.
No.
He's gonna use it to murder me.
He's gonna use it to nullify.
I'm re-rolling that.
Ooh, this one's nasty.
Don't rub it in! 17.
It says instant TPK.
Man, that
That's all
dice...
been written.
That dice did so well for so long.
You step back and you move to where you think the stream would be, and there's almost kind of this line of moonlight, and when you attempt to walk through it, you get just overwhelmed by confusion, and you start to fall asleep, and you step backwards, stumble backwards.
Stumble back, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to them. We just stay close, guys.
Are you gonna warn them that happened?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be like, don't walk over there. There's a
Two
line.
lights will go,
There's a
one
line
on
of
each of
nope.
you.
Don't.
Just all
Oh, real bad.
Yeah, just let's stand right here in this
You're both
single
fine.
spot.
Perfect.
Yay!
That would mean Allie's turn.
Okay. She's gonna cast Healing Word
Oh.
to try to make you feel a little better. And for some reason, my D4 is MIA. May I use yours?
Oh no, that's
It's
the
on vacation.
That's the caltrops. That's the worst one to lose.
I know, and I'll find it in the most unfortunate of ways.
Mhm.
That's a 3 plus 3, so 6. Thank you.
Allie, make me a perception check.
Yes. Will do. Yeah, she real dumb right now.
Okay.
Just right now, she said. Right.
Just in this instance.
So,
Yeah.
besides like the fireflies and the wisps, what else is in the glade?
Currently, you don't see anything.
Nothing. Is there a? I guess I want to know if I can sense anything like those words on my back. Can I like feel them? Do they like fluctuate in any? Like, do they become more or less intense?
You feel like, you know what? You feel like you have the same feeling you get when you hit somebody with Hunter's Mark, but you feel it's on you.
It's probably 5.
Has that changed did that change when I passed through the barrier?
It did.
I guess I'll voice that. I can feel something watching or observing me. Whatever those words on my that have been marked on my back say, I can feel them, and we should just be very careful here. I just sort of look down at Baldur's singe mark and
More careful.
more careful. How big of an area are we in?
It's about a 30-foot clearing.
30 by 30.
It's 25 by 25. There's a little bit of give there.
I guess I'll just kind of like peer into the tree line.
Mm-hmm. You peer into the tree line, make me a perception check.
17.
You see a form literally stepping out of the moonlight. Step forward, and so it says, "I'm so happy you finally decided to take my invitation." Allie, you're up. No, wait, you went. That's right, you're up, Cor.
Yeah.
Alright, so the two guys that are left, are they within 10 feet of each other?
Yeah. They didn't move.
Zap. And hopefully this,
Zippity zap zap.
hopefully this will kill them.
I
I'm
like
just
it.
glad it's real rainy and stormy. Get an extra D8.
Also, make me a perception check when you're done.
Love to.
Don't
So
Because
that
you've made a whole bunch of
is
noise.
Oh, good. 20.
Yeah, they're
both gone.
ash.
Get rid
You
of
just
that little
Pikachu'd the forest.
Excellent.
I just don't need so many.
Perception.
Too many out. It's hard to.
That is a dirty 20.
He's getting away.
You hear foot or feet. I can't even talk. You hear the sound of crunching wood in the forest in front of you where you came. A couple of them large, and you can see large shapes. in the
Allie,
undergrowth.
that's bad. We need to leave.
You hear a snort, and you hear a voice echo through. "I smell you, manling.
Gotta go.
Leaving!
So I'm gonna.
Why do you come where you are not welcome?"
I'm just gonna run across the stream.
It's like, I'm not even gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
Bye. See. I'm not
Okay,
the only one.
bye.
I'm not the only one who walks away from strange voices
Okay.
talking to me in the woods.
That one was me.
That was me.
I didn't know anything about the other one.
I'm rolling strength. Strength.
No, just gotta do acrobatics.
Okay. The save or a check?
Check.
Oh, it's not a save. Maybe. It's 13.
Ooh.
Yeah, now is where I make a save.
Yeah, you make a save.
All right, what am I saving?
Dex save.
All right, that's the same bonus.
Dextrabatics.
All right, so that's a 4. But I have this wonderful card that lets me add a D12.
You're gonna need it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna roll this D12 and hope I roll high.
6 or better.
Ooh, that's a 12. So 16.
All right. You hit the embankment and take 1 point of damage as
Break
you
a tooth.
as you smash your face and your chest and your ribs against the embankment.
Splat. That's
You
fine.
are climbing up the other side, and you feel real weird. You do not feel good at all.
But I'm alive.
We just
And there's-
cannot remember the time, or can I forget the time that Core jumped so well he injured himself?
Hey, we had a 4th edition group where someone in full plate tried to jump a river
Oh,
with a
Oh no!
rope around them
Why?
and fell in and drowned.
That was me, by the way. That was me.
That's amazing.
I
And the-
rolled.
and it was the-
I rolled.
and
so
they had-
bad.
they had the party's rope.
No.
Yeah, I
So
had
there
the
was
party's
no
rope.
way to get
I
them
was
out.
gonna jump across. My feet wasn't terrible for jumping across. I rolled so bad and then couldn't make any saves to save my life.
I
I
was
died
so heavy.
in the river.
Oh no!
And there, yeah, and
It was
full
great.
plate, they couldn't get out.
It was great. It was one of my first deaths ever.
That sucks.
Balder.
I have a fun
That's
story for you
a
later.
brutal way to die too.
Yep, drowning in plate.
What's this? What's our new friend look like?
It's terrible.
Think of David Bowie,
National treasure.
Aw.
circa like Ziggy Stardust
Mhm.
without the face paint.
So
Not like David Bowie in Labyrinth.
No, but that'd have been awesome as well.
Yeah.
You get a plus 10 to everything.
Wearing like
God.
a gossamer
Entertainment goes-
like 3-piece suit with like a piratey shirt
Coffee
with a
shop.
cane, very pale, bathed in moonlight, eyes almond shaped but with like just flecked with gold.
That's my aesthetic. It's good.
Mhm.
It's good when I like
It's
that
very
one.
good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's already talking in Torrent, so he won't interrupt. He'll just
You want to do anything?
stand back, see what happens.
You know, Vince McMahon and just stand back.
It's gonna be like, pow.
Stands in the back. It's such good shit.
Yeah, he's
This is such good shit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he came for Torrent. They're talking. He's all right.
Okay.
I mean, he'll look around and see if anything else is coming with him.
The moon is ridiculously bright.
Okay.
Like your hammer isn't even glowing right now.
Okay.
It's just outshined like Soundgarden. This is where my brain is tonight, apparently.
Yeah, that's
Boy, you're right.
Perfect. I mean, there's nothing. We're waiting, I guess. Trying to think if there's anything she could do.
I mean, you could help me up.
Well, I mean, I'll go help
Laying on
him
the
up.
ground.
You're not on that side of the.
Wait, what? I
You're
didn't
not?
make it over?
Oh, never
I'm
mind.
on our side of the. Oh,
Okay, well, he's not there.
I thought you made it.
yeah, I did too.
Looks like you didn't make it.
You'd run him through.
See, I did the exact same thing. I thought I was on the other side too, but I wasn't.
I mean, I think she'll just sit down and pull her alchemist supplies out of her pack and start trying to analyze this area.
So that brings us
There's,
to.
there's got to be a science reason behind this.
That brings us to.
Science.
We'll do this side of their first. Diana is like also got a book out and she's feverishly going through it. And
Nerds.
Did James tell you the nerd story yet?
No.
All right, I'll remind him
Okay.
to tell you on the podcast. It's
All
great. Or not podcast, a stream. Sorry, stream people. I'm sure that there's a weird, like, I shouldn't call a stream a podcast or a podcast a stream thing. I'm sure someone will yell.
Someone will yell at you?
God!
They'll write you an email. It's okay.
So this person, this being, walks out, and make me a perception check. Everyone who's there.
Sad that we're not there to witness this majesty. This
I
sounds
want to
dope.
use my
Yeah.
inspiration.
That rolls well and then bounce back. Oh god.
Nat 20.
Take a card.
It was a 16, but then it bounced off the edge to a 6. I have a
Alright.
10.
25.
So a total 22 from myself.
Almost had a dirty
Okay.
20.
And Diana got a 19 with no modifiers.
I'm really into my science.
She grabs you and she's just like, be very careful everything you say and you do right now going forward.
Why?
I think that we crossed over into to some type of pocket of the Feywild.
And that is significant because...
That is either some type of Eladrin or some type of Fey being.
Has this thing manifesting in front of us, or we're walking out of the forest, has that affected the script on my armor?
It's glowing brightly.
Is it like burning? How does it
It doesn't
feel?
hurt, it just feels like it kind of sparkly.
Oh, tingly. Alright.
When you roll that higher perception, you can literally see like pixies holding their coat, like up off the tails of the coat, up off the grass. And you notice when they walk, they don't actually hit the grass; they're just inches above it, almost like they're floating but walking on
So they're
air.
not leaving like any footprints or anything?
I love this.
Shannon is loving this.
So they walk over and they kind of walk around you in particular, kind of seeing it. Not my handiwork, but handiwork nonetheless of one of our courts. I'm so happy you could take the invitation.
What does it say?
They put their hands on your chin and up, pulls up your lip, looks at your teeth, and just grins ear to ear,
Oh, no.
and just says, "Do you realize how long it's been? How steps back and twirls in the air and spins very fast, a little faster than you think should be able to spin it again. You're seeing these tiny bits of light that you realize aren't fireflies, aren't will-o'-the-wisp, but are pixies spinning this being until it comes to an abrupt spot. It's so long since we've had visitors. So long."
Why did you call me?
But look at you,
What is this? What does this say?
and look at you,
Look at me.
and then looks right at Roy and says, "And well. Walks all the way, or moves all the way around you, and they say, "And look at you. So fascinating."
Get that a lot.
Did they say it in a way that we should be offended, or
Concerned? we came from a place where there were lots of weird experiments being done.
You've never met
that's where
Eladrin
Torrin's mind
before,
went.
and Ravnica, there is no real connection to the Feywild, so this is something you're not familiar with.
Just that, like, I guess the verbiage that this spirit is using has Torrin kind of like on edge because it being
Make me
collectors
an
of-
insight check.
20, dirty 20.
So, on Ravnica, when you worked with the Izzet League, there's a lot of experimentation that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your colleagues speak the same fascinated way about subjects that are brought in
That is exactly what I was thinking.
to the League.
That
Not as much as people you knew in the Semic Combine, where they experiment on living things more often, and try to breed, super soldiers and are combining things into basically making monsters in some ways. But this is... You feel... What'd you get on your insight check?
I got a dirty 20.
You feel very flattered in some ways. Like, you're like 80% flattered. Like, oh, wow, I feel like this person makes me feel really good about myself. I feel very... I stand a little prouder. And 20% real creeped out.
Wish I dressed up like that all the time.
So, back on the other side of the barrier, Allie, you're up. Oh, no, you're not up first. You see pushing its way through the trees. I mean, it breaks 2 trees. Its hands, probably the size of your torso, leading smaller, medium-sized goat people. You see a goat person that is all black, has 4 horns, and it is large. It is big. It is as big as an ogre.
Great.
It's got an axe on its back.
Oh, that's a big axe.
But it pushes its way through on hands with its hands. Its hands break the trees. Its hooves leaving huge divots in the ground. And it looms 25 feet away from you. Its eyes red with yellow slits. Manling, why do you defile Mother's forest? You are not from the fields. Run for your pathetic lives.
Love to.
Or I will grind you beneath the hooves of the herd. The fields are mine, and the humans inside are mine.
Oh.
Let's go.
Running!
Did you guys run into Shub-Niggurath? Oh boy.
No?
No.
You know it's not Shub-Niggurath.
Okay, good.
If it was that, you'd be making a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, that's fair.
Also, remember what you figured out last session.
Eyes.
While the herd worships Shub-Niggurath, and as well as some of the people within the city, or not city, the hamlet, they can't connect anymore. And that's where the problem started.
Mm.
Did someone disconnect this world from all the other planes?
No, that's what Remains of Dread does. Might have been where
Yeah.
somebody took that idea from, though.
They accidentally unplugged the Wi-Fi cord. It's not good.
Yeah.
Just gotta
And
turn
there's
back
I
on.
love you, signal!
It's like that South Park when the internet, when somebody unplugs the whole internet.
So it takes its turn
Lord.
to slowly pull this axe out that is just has a handle made of skulls.
Charming.
That is a
Like
Dark
sleeves,
Souls weapon.
like sleeves made of skulls. This is a skull. This
That's
is
a skull. Here's another skull.
It's like a floor made of skulls.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd like to not do that
Bag of
again.
teeth.
And then its blade looks like it's made of cobbled together other weapons that have been pounded and melted into an axe blade.
Oh yeah, you guys are fighting Dark Souls boss.
So there's a handful of dice.
Right?
Which I've never played, so yeah.
It's really
It's
good.
very accurate.
Yeah.
So the aesthetic, I must have tapped into an aesthetic. And he lets it hit the ground, and you can feel the weapon hit the ground. You can feel the weight of this thing hit the ground. He snorts, and he kicks one foot up, and you hear a deafening roar of these other goat men. in the wood,
Nope.
and you notice just how many are looking at you.
Nope. No, yeah, we're running. No.
Okay.
No,
Now it's your
running.
turn.
Jolly
Running.
cooperation.
Running! What do I need to do?
Well, I'm gonna slither, but yes.
You need to make
Are you a snack?
In
acrobatics
turn here.
check.
Can I? Oh, damn it. I feel like I should wait, but I'm not waiting. I love you, but no. I like you, but I don't like you that much.
Engage in jolly cooperation.
Yeah. Because otherwise I could wait and just take the... But she's not going to do
Well,
it. We're turning
I'll
into
be a
snack.
giant poisonous snake, so
Oh, well, that's not going to help me.
yeah.
You're going like full Jafar.
Ah.
Okay.
I just have really good.
All right,
for that
what
skill.
am I making?
Medium size.
Acrobatics check with advantage.
Acrobatics. Ah, nope. We're going to use
You
that.
have advantage,
You did
remember.
say advantage.
Oh, that's right. Oh, thank you, God.
Yeah, 'cause but I will take
That's
the.
better.
But I will take the.
That's
red card.
better.
I said a really good.
Oh, I
idea
do.
for
She
a
rolled a
team.
1?
Yeah, I did.
Oh no.
Oh, boo.
That is a 17.
I hear you can't use red cards on giant snakes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
You like turn and you run and you jump and you start to stumble
Mhm.
and you just fortuitously your feet hit the very edge of the embankment and you push off and dive through, arms out, and you slide across the grass.
I have to go. My people need me.
So you slide in and through. Torin, we'll get to you.
Yeah.
Core.
So I will use my action. I will
Okay.
turn into a giant poisonous snake that has a swim speed,
Okay.
Well
and
done.
then I will just
Well
swim
done.
across.
Well, you were on the bank, so you're just going to push yourself up and through.
Oh, I made it to the other side, just not where I
Yeah.
needed to be. Then I will not turn into a giant snake. I'll just step over.
Well, you
Aw.
could still turn
Crawl
into a
up and
giant
get in.
snake.
Yeah.
Then it'd be fun for a while.
I just wanted a giant danger noodle.
Could still happen.
I can do that.
No.
The night's still young. Look.
I know the night is young. We have an hour
still
in
have an
which I
hour.
may still be able to boop the snoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
A snake.
You get in, you can hear them coming, and you hear this roar, and then it's dead silent.
Yeah, and I turn around and I see no stream.
You're still in core form, not.
Yeah.
Okay. You like turn around and then you turn and scoot on your butt, like oh crap, so you can see them. And when you hear nothing, and you just see the end of this glade and this moonlight wall almost.
And then I'll turn to see what's behind me, and I'll see my friends and David Bowie.
Dead boy.
Okay.
Brit.
Took you long enough. We've been here for like 18 seconds.
Brit.
So this thing is just kind of walking around and examining us.
Mm-hmm. Examining you primarily.
If it like goes to touch me, I'm gonna try and like. Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's already touched you a couple times.
Alright. Well,
Do
keep-
not put your hands upon Allah said.
Kind of narrow
Everyone
my
writes that down.
eyes at it.
Spell
You
that.
are. I don't know. I made it up.
Okay.
ALASADE.
It sounds.
Yeah, it's spelled like it sounds. Come on. MWA.
Ellie, like, legitimately isn't watching any of this. She's just casting mending, trying to, like, clean up her
Finger
clothes.
bullets.
Oh, hey, I can be like, prestidigitation. How you not, buddy?
She's, like, bitching. Like, oh, this thing cost me, like, 50 gold.
As it's
Absolute
walking
disaster.
around us, I'll ask it again. Why was I called out to?
I did not call for you. You simply drew the attention of the forest.
You knew I was invited, though.
You're marked. I'm. How can you not see that?
What has happened to the other people who are too proud to come here?
Well, they are here until they're no longer here.
That's not an answer.
You mortals and your concepts of time. It's hard to explain to you. Don't you see already? It's so much better here than there.
It is way better here. Watch out for the fireflies.
It looks better here. But I don't trust this spirit.
Oh, I'm the spirit. Spirit! I am flesh and blood and moon and dream. You're in the court of the Moon King. You have been marked, you have been asked, you have been invited. You are privileged. You should be very aware of that. But also you should understand your place, mortal.
What is my place supposed to be?
You're to entertain. You, all of you, are here at the behest of his lordship in order to entertain.
Torn's just gonna growl in response to that.
Perfect. Because you can entertain in one way, or you can entertain another. And the moon goes very dark for a moment, and all of the light comes, instead of seeming like it's bending out and around Alisade, it seems to bend now around him, so everything looks shadow and darkness for just a few seconds.
Can I use my Amulet of the Arcane to like sense anything about this being? I have ×1 a day identify a magic item, or ×3 a day roll Arcana check at advantage.
Sure. What are you trying to figure out?
Anything. I just wonder if I can kind of like get a sense for the nature of this thing. Is it like how is it a? He says it's like flesh and blood, but it also says like of the moon and stuff. So I kind of want to like see if I can sort of get a handle on the sort of basic nature of this thing.
Okay.
What kind of being I'm dealing with.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Or I guess before that too.
With your advantage, with your plus 3 or
I have
whatever it is.
the where'd it go? Primeval awareness. So I can sense when either aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present.
It's Fae.
It's a fae. Okay, so then I'll use my kind of check at advantage. Ooh, I got 2 9s.
You rolled 2
That's the second time I've rolled the 2 of the same roll.
Yep.
Sounds like an 18.
So it is a
Add them together. Just kidding.
an 11 total.
This place is just magic. Like it's just completely enveloped in magic.
Can I use
So it is.
this to add D12 to my
Yeah.
roll? Okay, I want to do that. Because I want to try and plus 10. So I'm up to 21.
So this thing is definitely flesh and blood, but it's just exuding magic. So perhaps something like you've met. You've probably been in proximity to like the Living Guild Pact on Ravnica before, who's a planeswalker and who exudes magic. Like just literally, it's just coming off of him. Tezzeret exuded magic when you met him, which just like bleeds off of him. Niv Mizzet exudes magic. It's just falling off of them. This whole place is like that. Like you're literally feel like you're bathing in magic. It's almost makes your head hurt. Everything's too bright. Everything smells too much. It's almost overwhelming to the senses.
Allie is going to step up and try to look as calm and composed as possible. She's not particularly like intimidated by him.
You have seen Eladrin before.
Yeah. So I'd like to try a performance check.
Before you do, make me a nature check.
Oh, sure. I can do that.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay. It is an Eladrin. Usually Eladrin you can recognize by season. This one, you're like, there is no season present here. This is definitely built around night.
Okay. Her goal is she just wants to, like, distract him and take him down a little bit and use her ability to try and refocus his attention to get everybody back in his good graces.
Okay.
So I'd like to do a performance check. Or I could do persuasion, either way, whichever you prefer. I feel like performance is more apt.
Why don't you use performance?
Performance. That is... I'm going to reroll that.
Okay.
I don't like it. I can do better. Yes. That's a 19.
Okay. So
She'll-
what are you doing when you're performing?
She walks up and puts her arms out and bows, almost curtsies very deeply, and goes, "My lord, forgive my compatriots. They are unfamiliar with your kind. I assure you they don't mean to speak out of turn, and I am more than happy to provide any entertainment or information. We, of course, are at your disposal."
They turn and look at you, and that kind of darkness disappears, and it goes back to that very bright light. And they run their hand across your cheek, and they look back at you, and manners. That is all one can ask for. And where are you from? You're a tiefling, correct?
Yeah, she's a tiefling.
They run their finger up your horns, like almost fascinated at first. And when it hits the tip, there's a small spark of fire that comes off there.
She kind of glances.
No. Delightful.
I am not of this particular plane. I hail from a place called Waterdeep.
I'm sure it is in the books. Because none of us are from this plane. This is a trap. We've all been stuck here for so very long.
That must be maddening.
Well, time is nothing to us.
Of course.
So it is just simply another state of boredom. That is why it is so interesting to have visitors.
I can only imagine. They mean well, of course, you know.
Visitors that we've never had before. You're obviously not from a world where you have contact with us.
Yeah, no.
Ravnica.
I have seen your kind before, but your forms I find confusing. Interesting, but confusing. You I see, and there is interest there, but I can't see beyond you. There are no dreams. There is nothing in the night there. I find you to be disdainful.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no, what did he give you?
Die. No, the next person I interact with takes an irrational disliking to me.
So
David Bowie hates me, and I'm
I will
sad
say doesn't like you, and I don't like you either. Better be careful. I've got the death warrant on 3 systems. No, he
This is my friend Pigface.
yeah, he looks at you and he just says, "I don't." Or I shouldn't say. They look at you and they say, "You are hiding your dreams."
Well, I hide nothing. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to get those, won't we? Plenty of time. But enough of that talk. You look famished, and it's not safe to be in the wood at night.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Your Grace, we would be most humbly appreciative of any spot where we may rest. I would be happy to entertain in exchange.
The court of the Moonlight King is always welcome to new faces. And he leads you, and that is when you need to make me a perception check.
18. 15.
11. She's
21.
distracted.
Real bad.
6.
And Diana does not do that great. Coming out of the woods on large cats, like riding cats. There are elves. Sort of. Maybe more like Panther.
Wait, I missed giant cats.
This.
There are
I point that out.
You can still boop a snoot.
there are elves of darkened skinned color riding on these cats, and they are wearing very various colors of paint across them. It doesn't appear like a whole lot else, but they seem to be herding you towards
Are we
this.
talking like
pathway.
drow, dark colored skin, or like.
Make me a nature check, because the drow aren't something you would have
I
seen
have
on
proficiency.
Ravnica either.
And I was just kind of going for like what I like as a person. What I'm saying.
That was going to be my question: is are they like drow? Or do they
You can
look-
also make me a nature check once it's pointed out. They're like, oh, there's
Okay,
there's
so
big
I
old
have
cats with elves on them.
This D20 hates me today.
An 8.
The skin,
have a belly button.
they are dark of skin, but it's not purple. How about that? Or black.
Yeah, sure. That's all. I guess that's all I was looking for.
They all appear to be wearing, like I said, their flesh is also painted with light colors, and they all appear to be adorned with jewelry of different kinds, but they're also all carrying weapons.
Are they wearing like leather or
No,
Just
they're
paint.
just paint.
Oh, okay, so they're like tribal, kind of wildernessy.
No armor.
Okay.
So you travel for what feels like a long time. Like, it feels like you went a long distance. So you feel like your hunger has grown and everything, but you get there and it's almost like you turn around and you can see the glade, and like you're almost like you went nowhere. And you come into a open-ended area with large trees. The trees are spaced out like towers. Built around the towers are these lattices, and at first they look like spider silk. But the closer you get, you start to see that they're crystal. And then even more so when you get closer, they're actual physical moonlight. Everything is prismatic. It's almost like you can sort of see through, but not quite. And you see around that area, you see more of these elves who seem to be stoic and quiet, kind of patrolling. And then you see more beings like Alisade, who, again, seem to be somewhat floating. Each has their own sort of color. Each has their own aesthetic. But they all seem to be of similar overall, maybe race is the best way to look at it. Alisade turns and welcomes you into a large hall and says, "This is the kingdom of the Moonlight King. You will wait here, and I will let him know that I have brought him a gift."
Is he
And
the
they
one
leave.
that marked Torin?
He already told you that.
Tell me that.
Well, he told them that.
Yeah.
That was
Or they told them that.
Yeah.
Pronouns, pal.
And has anything else changed about those markings?
Well, he's like very pale and almost like an off-white. Your markings are like a crystalline blue. So after about 10 minutes, you see a few more individuals come into the hall, and they're kind of watching you from afar. They all have like a cadre of these other subservient elves around them. You see one who is almost glowing with a soft orange light.
Before any of this will happen, like when we're alone, Allie will look at the group and go, "Do yourselves a favor, be polite, mind your manners, and play along."
Diana she's been like digging through a book feverishly, and she's like, "Don't agree to anything, do not eat anything." She's just like, these are the stories. Like, no one comes back.
Everything's going to be fine. Just relax and keep your wits about you.
Was it a short, restful ride over? I'm just curious.
Torrin is anything but relaxed right now. He's very like tense and like
So
watching everything.
A Bing moves its way over there and is more lithe and more muscular than Alisade. And like I said, orange. Their hair, rather than being kind of slicked back a little longer, is almost up. And when the soft breeze hits it, it almost looks like it's on fire. Their eyes, orange with a white center, comes over and observes you very closely. Think of almost like Tilda Swinton, I guess would be the person I would compare to.
Good visual.
Looking at you and again floating. And they... Only one marked. Marked poorly. Interesting. And whose might you be?
My apologies. Whose might we be? You have to forgive me, we are
Who?
guests.
Whose are you? She looks at you and I see no markings. I see no ownership. I see, except for on the brute.
We are here to entertain. We are accompanying our friend here, and we...
Accompanying? You think this is a stop? Oh, my dear, this is a destination. This is not a stop. This is not somewhere on your journey.
Of course, of course.
This is where your journey ends. They laugh kind of in a very... It starts off like almost like a deep, robust laugh, and then kind of turns into an almost cackle as they walk, or not as they move away. A journey, and goes and shares what they feel is a joke with these other individuals.
Man, sure feels like.
Once they are completely out of sight.
Well, they're still in sight. They're
They're
just
still
off
in
away
sight.
from, yeah.
Oh man, she's fighting every part of her to just not look at them and be like, yeah.
Does anyone else get the feeling this is when people stop being polite and start getting real?
True story.
About that time, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Turn around. I'm gonna turn around like quickly.
Okay.
Like very like on edge.
And you see
Spin around.
this individual, this being has the bluish tint that would match your markings. has a pixie visibly sitting on its shoulder. Hands crossed in front of it. Sly smirk on its face. Looking at you. I didn't think you would get here so soon, especially after you ran. But I'm happy that you decided to take me up on my invitation. It's been so long since we've had something truly wondrous here. And you didn't come alone, which makes it even more spectacular. They look at you. They're very pale, and then the further you go out in their features, there's this blue. Visually, they look like what is it? She was on X-Files. Gillian Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Hair is white into blue as well. A little more feminine in features, but in facial features, but more masculine in build. So again, you can't find or discern any of these individuals any type of gender. But they are looking at you intently, and I believe you are a furbog.
Guilty as charged.
I was there when your race was a blink in your god's eye.
Really?
We've been here forever. I've been so bored. And then I heard something.
What's that?
And their eyes look down at your maul.
Oh, you heard that too.
Oh, I heard.
Been a little quiet lately.
Well, the Moonlit King has carved his own space. He has... While he denies us many things that he would take for himself, he also has found a way to deny the dark powers many of the things they would take.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. The break's been real nice, but...
Can I touch it?
Sure.
So you hand it over?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it goes like more than 10 feet away from me, it'll disappear. Come back.
The face of this Aladdin takes on the countenance of the being inside the mall. For that moment, looking back at you and says, "Oh, have we found what we were looking for?"
Yeah.
And that kind of phases back and forth. You have been brought here for a reason. All of you will play a part. Because he's going to offer you something. At a cost. Because the hammer goes back to you, by the way. Because everything here has a cost. But I'm going to offer you something greater. I'm going to offer you freedom. I'm going to offer you an opportunity to leave this country. I can send you to anywhere in the domains. All you need to do is kill the king.
Oh, is that all?
I've heard this before.
That is all. What's a little patricide? Regicide between friends.
Yeah, the last regicide didn't work out too well for us.
But you're practiced.
Show me the laugh.
So this might be the first time that Allie's hearing about this.
Yeah, she's just kind of.
You guys do what?
Wait, they said what now?
It's probably fine. But
It's no big deal.
why,
NPD, yeah.
why do you want him dead?
Because I don't wish to be stuck this way anymore.
Is he keeping you here?
He keeps us all like this.
What is he?
He's the king.
When they say this, is he like referring physically or like?
You would know enough about a ladder to make me a nature check with advantage.
Okay.
Please.
Oof. That's awful. That's less awful. 14.
Eladrin are mutable. They are the closest thing to their god than elves or drow or half elves or anything else. They can do things like change gender. They can change with the seasons. They can. This seems like everyone here is stuck in neutral, except for one being, according to this person, who is basically dictating to everyone else what they will be and who they will be.
So I presume that's why you placed your mark on me.
Well, I am nothing if not opportunistic.
Which is admirable. The greater
It is pragmatic and smart.
potato.
Not to mention, we've been watching you.
That's not creepy at all.
Well, I'd been watching you.
I'd like to know more about this attempted, stories.
You start to watch.
Successful,
You,
but we'll
you
get
can
to
all
that
make me
later.
perception checks.
Including me.
Yeah.
Or just that much. Okay. What's the
Sorry,
matter
wait,
with
wait.
11.
Perception, please.
God, I switched dice
I
and I'm
rolled
still
an
being
11 about 800
hated
times tonight.
on.
19.
I got part of that. 9.
9.
6!
No.
Everybody's
Wow,
real
well,
derby!
I've gotten what I
Oh,
think
that
the
was
best.
Oh man, distracted. Yeah, that was
I got
terrible.
a 19.
Only Balder notices that Alisade is making its way back
Takes an A on the edge of that rating.
in.
Subtle.
That's pretty good.
Who doesn't have one?
That's pretty good.
Me.
There you go.
I think you're probably the only one who
Jeez.
has one now, right now, currently.
Yeah,
I don't know if I speak that language. I didn't
We've all
catch
said
that.
Yeah, I don't have Pig Latin as one of my
Yeah.
languages.
Well, should have thought of that before I
Should've
started.
No, that's what infernal actually sounds like.
I have deep speech.
It's abysmal.
Me too.
It's abysmal.
That almost there was another one.
It does. I feel like I should be doing this.
It's alright.
He'll be our week. Try to be
Abysmal.
I just have standing inspiration.
Names of a stack.
Like chips.
So you see Alisade coming. You see them making their way back towards you. And you watch the countenance on their face change from kind of that pleasant demeanor to seeing this other Eladrin around you to being slightly irritated. And then kind of hiding it behind a very cordial smile.
So is
I see you met my guess.
Is he talking to the
Other
Eladrin?
Eladrin, who kind of smiles back very wryly.
Who never introduce themselves, right?
I was going to
No.
say, do we know their name?
Okay.
Are you Alisade's guest? He looks directly at Torin.
Well, it's your invitation that brought me here.
Was it?
So I would say,
And you see that kind of catty look across. You know, it does seem, I do seem to recollect that I sent the invitation to that. Perhaps if you would be so kind.
Torn will very reluctantly turn around.
Ah! Would you look at that? It appears that someone is marked.
Jeez. Ben does caddy so well. I love it.
Alisade looks rather irritated. And just bluntly says, not all of you were marked.
But I brought them here to come with me. And through me,
We shall see. And they float away. Well done. You've already learned the first lesson. I do the talking. You do the regicide.
tactful. Tactful.
Oh
Hey.
boy.
She kind of does like,
So
you ever
we're-
see that gif of like Mel Reynolds doing that? Just one of those.
So we're alone with the blue one now, right?
Mhm.
It's still sort of out in the open though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
So
they're talking. So.
Yeah.
this
Oh.
individual starts to lead you, snaps his fingers, and starts to lead you from that large foyer kind of area through a few different through a few different pathways, like skyways almost. They're just crystal and like bending moonlight into different shapes. And you are brought into a crystalline. It's not really even a building. It's very open. Decadent. There are divans and what is the thing? The chaise lounge. There are many pillows and all this. There's duvets.
This is
Footstool.
much more her style.
Ottomans.
Everything to eat is on crystal. Like you can see through almost everything except for the things that are made of cloth. And there are this gossamer-esque thread that when you touch it, there's a sumptuousness to it that almost makes you feel like you're going to fall asleep. And you're brought in, and again, there are these individuals, these elves, and this dark-skinned with now you're noticing like their paint on them is white, but is traced in blue as well, of this individual's particular color. And there's cats here, but they're odd looking. They're marked as well, and they almost have like a slight charge coming off of them, electrical charge. They're large. I mean, when I say large, there's some that are large, there's some that are just medium, like the size of a person. But there's a few that are the size of like a rhinoceros, that are just lounging around. And you're brought into a large hall. This is your home for the foreseeable future. Bless you.
Thank you.
It's real nice. quick question, just quick aside.
I will definitely answer your question. Please, now that we're alone, I would like to hold your maul once again.
He just wants to keep touching it.
Can't stop thinking about it.
First one was free.
Ellie like lounges down on the chaise and she's like, this is getting downright dirty.
Yeah, all right. Well, how about while I'm getting it out, you answer the question real quick?
How about no?
Yeah, all right. So he'll produce the He'll hand it over.
Okay. So they're staring down into the head of the maul. Please proceed with your question, mortal.
So how come you don't just do it?
Well,
I mean, we can't be more powerful than you, right?
Oh, you're not. Not at all. But there are implications if I do it. You see, blood on my hands does not assist me in any way, shape, or form. I need this to be carried out by you.
And you don't think that a group of random strangers that just suddenly turn up aren't going to be suspicious?
No, you will be. You will kill him, and then he will be stuck for a period of time. And while he's stuck, I will have control, or one of us will. And since I will be the one who brought you here, I will have control. And he starts to shake just a slight bit, and then he looks up and you recognize the face and says, I will have control. And then we can go wherever I want to. And it kind of shakes for a second, and the face goes back to normal. The rest of you can roll me a perception check real quick. Everyone except for Warrior.
Oh my god.
19.
15.
7.
12.
15 or better,
This is about ready to go my bra.
like, there's a weird moment where this person's face is out of shift, and you see a more masculine face, almost boyish, but very maniacal is a poor choice of words.
Fiendish?
Not fiendish, but determined. I use the word determined. Maybe the word slightly malicious is a word.
I swear.
Underlying that, and the voice is slightly off as well. And you also can make me another perception check since you succeeded on the first one.
Do we recognize it's the face on the hammer?
That's what I'm trying to find out right now.
No, that's an 11.
14.
No, you do not. But it kind of phases back. Then I can do as I wish. And then when the king's cycle returns, they'll know they can be slain. And things will change. It's happened before.
It's just a bug. Little gnat.
If we do this, can you get us out of the domains?
No. If I could get you out of the domains, I would be out of the domains.
And in the meantime, what about spies? Is that something we have to be concerned about?
Not
Spies
within
of the
my
king.
house.
None of the others of your kind here are working?
Everyone in the court works for themselves.
That is, without even being here, 100% accurate.
And the moment they have the opportunity to ply you and make offers to you and entice you, they will. I offer you nothing but the opportunity to go elsewhere. And the promise that I don't want anything from you beyond killing the king.
What of the inscription on my armor? Am I bound to you? Will that be removed?
That was to ensure that no one else could make claim to you. You just happen to be the gateway I needed to get what I wanted, which was you and your party here. Although I do notice that your stone-skinned friend is not with you. But you have, and he looks over at Diana, picked up a stray. She's like feverishly writing all this down.
So if we were to do this and end up somewhere else, is it going to be somewhere else where we're free of the king's wrath when he's back in power?
He won't remember what happened.
How is that possible?
It's happened before.
Ellie's going to try to persuade him
Okay.
to sweeten the pot.
Okay. Interesting.
Roy is going to pat her on the back and be like, you got this. Add a d6. Go get this tiger.
In 2019, you can do it. I believe in you.
That's my inspiring call right now. You got this.
Yeah. All right. That is a 13 plus.
Roll a d6.
Roll a d6. 5. So that'll bring it up to an 18.
Okay, well what are you doing?
She's going to ask him to kind of sweeten the pot because there's not a lot of benefit in this for us other than like going somewhere else, which she's not unconvinced they can't figure out how to do themselves. So she's going to ask for, perhaps some updated weaponry or a way to heal the worst of our injuries.
That is fascinating because I don't see how that would hurt anything. I can definitely take the maladies that you're suffering from and return you back to your full strength selves. That benefits all of us.
A curse
Does it
to...
not? The food that I have laid before you will definitely do those things. Weapons, slightly more difficult prospect.
FYI, any ally within 60 feet also got that to use within the next
really
minute.
Nice.
You have a minute to use it, so.
Perhaps if that is difficult, maybe...
Not impossible. Just
probable.
Time consuming.
Darling, we're worth it.
Perhaps. We'll see. How quickly can you move on the king?
We need to know more about him before we can make any moves.
What do you need to know?
Where can we find him? Does he have any guards?
If he has habitual behavior on the daily.
What kinds of weapons and forces can he use against us?
Well, he is the Moonlit King. This is his Dempsey. We all live at his whim.
We are fighting an uphill battle at best.
Of course, but
how can he be
foolish
killed?
to go into it blind.
Well, it will be an extremely difficult battle for you. The key is for you to know when to go after him. He has a mortal that he's quite fond of, and he keeps them in the shadow spire, the only place his moonlight does not touch.
You say 8 or do you say plural mortals?
Mortal.
And mortal.
Because he needs to know to placate his ego that this mortal feels the way they do based upon reality and not some charm, not some effect that he is forced on them, like he is forced upon the rest of us.
So he literally keeps someone locked in a tower? Child's fairy tales.
We are nothing if not old people. We are the stories that you have told to your youth, because we were there long before any of you. He looks at Diana, who's a half-elf, and says, even your kin, half of your blood, was young when we were old. Your race has rarely existed a blink in time compared to mine. You I do not know. You, as I said, I've seen. You were bred, yours were born and bred to fight for masters who grew tired of long wars with giants and shattering the ordning. I do not know what you are. Frankly, I do not care. Do what needs to be done as I bid, and I will give you freedom to travel across the domains of dread. I will give unto you a free pass, as the Vistani have. Mine is just one trip.
Just for funsies, what if we don't?
Well, if you do not, I will renege on the fact that you are invited here by me. You will no longer be my guests. You will no longer be owned by me. I will take that. Make no bones about that. I will throw you in the deepest hole for Bolg, and I will keep that hammer close to me, for it calls to me just as assuredly as it does to you.
You can't take this.
You'd be surprised what I can take when I decide to. You will be left like vermin before predators.
Knowing what little bit I know about this particular situation, it would probably do us best to not think on the opposite side and question too much, at least for the moment.
Well, it was just for funsies.
You haven't
And I
even
offer
introduced
you-
yourself to us.
Yes, what's your name?
I prefer to keep that to myself. Names have power. Those who throw their names out tend to be far more powerless than they understand.
Then how may we address you?
You may address me as
Pete.
them.
Bob.
Oh, I had something else in mind, but it was worse.
And I will see very heartily about gaining you items enchanted to ensure your victory, as well as potentially something to, as you say, sweeten the pot.
I think that when we're all at 100%, that will make things much easier for us.
But until then, I feel that you have come a long way, and therefore please eat, drink, your entertainment. And you see some of these elves, they're painted a lot less and they're wearing a lot less clothing, are brought in. And then we will talk about this when the moon shines upon us again.
She'll just nod.
And they get up and they leave the room.
We look around, can we see this spire? Or what we might think might be the spire?
You can't really see it. There's enough like refracted lights off the prisms you can't.
There's no windows or anything.
When you look up on kind of the refracted prisms of this dome that you're in, you can just sort of see your patron's face almost staring down at you with a very benevolent smile, smirk.
Is anyone else getting like a Zelda vibe right now? Because Ellie just looks up. She's like, "That's not creepy at all." So, who wants to spill the beans on this whole king killing nonsense? That's kind of a big tidbit that was left out.
One of the elves begins
Oh, was it a king?
pouring drinks.
I mean, to be fair, haven't had a lot of downtime.
Except for, sitting next to a pig and having conversations with the pig. Because I've seen that happen.
Diana looks
Those
at
are
you.
important
You
conversations.
talk to Boris?
Everybody talks to Boris. He's a sweetheart. That's beside the point.
I don't want to.
You know, that pig never talks to me. She's very upset. What a stuck-up... Oh.
He takes a while to earn trust. Don't worry.
Word of
about it.
advice.
I've known that pigs
bring
since he was...
treats.
Oh. She looks at you and she's like, I think we're supposed to drink this.
Don't eat and drink this.
I am 100% eating and drinking this.
I'm going to eat the lunch that Robert and Agnes packed for me.
But this
Part of
is... I think this is... I think we're screwed anyway and pacted. So I think eating this won't play into that. And I think for you two, it might actually fix things.
Without hesitation, she reaches down, grabs something, and just takes a big old bite.
Your glass never goes below half empty, as you have two attendants beside you. And you are given as much food as you want. They will feed you if you want. And your stat fix goes to normal, and your hit points go to full.
Yay!
You're basically at a spa, for lack of a better term.
I love it!
How big
Ye
is the
olde
space out
Aveda.
here?
20 by 20 foot.
Are there like any adjoining rooms or anything?
One door in.
One door in. That's
Mhm.
Torin wants to eat, but he doesn't want to be fawned over, so he's gonna like kind of separate himself from like the attendants, and
They still fawn over you.
I'm gonna push them away. Get away from me.
They will offer to take your armor and
Nope,
oil
get away.
it.
Nope, get away from me.
They will
I don't want you to touch me.
offer
Leave me
to
alone.
oil your scales.
Nope,
Ooh.
that's fine.
No,
Get
that
away.
sounds fancy.
Get away. I don't want anything to do with it.
You want a scale rub down?
Nope, I don't want any. Leave me alone. I got my
A
personal. Get out of my personal
massage.
space.
They set a respectful, legitimate. I'm having a legitimate
have
hard time talking.
4 minutes left. That's all you need to get through is 4 minutes.
Oh God, what is wrong with my brain? They set a respectful distance away. Yeah, respectful.
For some reason, I'm thinking.
Now I'm thinking that wasn't
No,
right, Russell.
no, it sounded weird.
Respectable.
You're good.
That's what I'm thinking about. Is respectable.
It's fine either way.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
Everything's
legitimate.
fine.
Legitimate. It's fine.
It's an MWA production.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Baldur will partake as well. He will spend some time explaining the situation.
They'll offer to polish your hammer.
Wow.
Bow,
Maybe
chicka,
later.
bow, bow. I didn't know it was that kind of game.
Oil your armor.
Also,
I don't wear
Baldur's too.
armor. I'm wearing overalls.
They'll offer rub down. I mean, they're literally offering
Yeah.
everything.
It's cool. Thank you. Baldur will take some time to explain to Allie answer her questions about the alleged Richardson.
She would listen if she gets a hot stone massage.
You do. Allie can get wherever she wants.
Allie's loving this.
He was more of a guild leader. He's not really.
Yeah, he
And
wasn't a
Diana's like,
king.
I've never seen like any of these things before. I'm really not sure if I should be doing this. But I'm kind of gonna do this.
And,
He wasn't really a king.
Go with your feelings.
So
She's like, oh, I got feelings.
Baldur explains.
It's a
that-
small village. It's a hamlet.
So you give her the rundown.
We were in a nutshell.
She's like, wait. You killed a dragon?
Not.
And he was
direct-
your boss.
Not directly.
No, yeah.
No.
And he was your
What?
dad?
The only person who actually knows that is Balder,
Okay.
and unless
He wouldn't. He
yeah,
wouldn't
but
spill
that's
that
not
one.
something
He wouldn't
Tor
spill that.
wants
We didn't
to
actually
share with
kill
people.
the big dragon, did we?
So,
Well, yeah, but he
real in a nutshell,
You don't know that.
we were
Oh,
working.
okay.
We were working for a laboratory in Ravnica, where we live, and lived. You know, and well, she doesn't know where we're from, and it turned out some of the things that the guild was doing was less than ethical, shall we say. And similarly, our performance in the guild was being unjustly criticized.
That's for sure.
So, we wound up getting in the good graces of a guy named Tetherat, who had a plan to that seemed in line with what we were looking to do. We did our part. It worked how we thought it was going to. Some people died. And then,
Did you know those people?
yep.
So you killed people you knew. So you
We didn't set out to.
murdered these people to do what? Because
Stop them from what they were doing, which was
but you were a part of that. You'd already done that. You didn't change sides. You just sabotaged
you don't
and killed these people you knew. How many people did you kill?
intentional. What, like 20? And
She just looks kind of surprised, like very, very surprised by all of this.
I mean, there's a lot of socio-political background that I don't have time to go into right now. But I think we can all agree that the ethics of stopping people who are making monsters for war that would kill thousands, at least.
But what you just said is then this person you helped started war anyway.
We didn't know he was going to do that. He tricked us.
Sounds to me like you need to be better about vetting the jobs that you take.
And
Yeah.
that's why you're here?
Well,
It looks that way.
more and more it seems like that's
Yeah.
the case.
Something happened in
We-
our final confrontation. And we woke up here.
We
It's
should
big
be-
boom.
I mean, to be honest with you, it came real clear, real quick that we weren't supposed to make it out of there alive. And then we woke up here.
She looks down, kind of takes a moment, and she looks at you and she says, I'm sorry. That's horrible. You were murderers. And she gets up and walks away for a little bit, spends the rest of the evening kind of away from you guys. She doesn't seem to be, like, she'll be wherever you're at, but she just seems shocked about your story, about where you came from and what you did.
Man, figures the one person in this whole place that's not a murderer would be the one who heard our story.
Allie she kind of stands up, tucks her clothes back on. She's not super modest. Hot stone massages require no clothing. She just kind of gets up and wraps like her robe around her and just kind of looks at all of you and goes, well, learn something new every day. And she walks away and goes after her.
The dusk elves that are standing around you look down at you all. It seems like they look down at you with like with one mind, and all together say, every so often you have to cull the weak from the herd. And there's a slight grin. And that's where we stop for tonight.
Oh man, I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna fucking die! Apparently, you should leave our side.
I was just.
We may have questionable morals, but
My character may like hate everything about this world, but like me, I am loving this.
All right, so that's D&DDT tonight. I hope you guys had fun. Everyone want to go around the table, tell them where they can find you at social media. If you have anything to tell people about, especially if you have like a T-shirt or a wrestler who's in New Jersey right now, probably taking chairs and light tubes to the head. Be safe.
10:02 is the show over?
It might be over. You might be able to get results.
11 there.
Yeah, it's probably it's a GCW show.
I don't remember when it started.
Also, if you watch this and you like what we do, make sure you are jumping on and following TTRP Theater on YouTube as well. That would be a really good thing. So why don't you go first?
oh, because I'm real easy.
Yeah.
I'm Cassandra. You can't find me anywhere other than maybe Facebook. But I maybe wouldn't advise that unless you really want to see recipes and Rebel Circus memes. I don't know.
Silverback. You can find me on Twitter at MikeIsTripleH. That's all I've got. That's the only plug I have.
You can find me
Can I do more?
on Instagram and Twitter at WarriorMN.
Also, at some point, we're going to be putting up Spotify playlists.
Ooh, I have one if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
stay tuned. If you would like to find out anything more about our other D&DDT efforts, you can go to DDTpodcast.com. Any forthcoming playlists, etc., will be up there. You can also check out every Tuesday. There is a statistics recap of these episodes. If you're ever interested in how much damage we dealt or how many snakes we carried,
0.
you can find out on Tuesdays at DNDDT podcast. Or sorry, just DNDDT.com.
Alright, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Cubicle Zombie.
You can find me all over the place. I'm on Twitter. You can follow my personal account at SmarkyBetch with an E, not an I. Or you can follow my podcast, The Married Marks, which is at Married Marks. Or you can find us at marriedmarks.com. We update Mondays and Fridays. I'm also a contributor at dailyddt.com. So check them out and read up on some real good wrestling news.
You can find me on HeelTurnRadio most of the time. Although some of the time I don't contribute. I'm non-contributor.
Because you're lazy.
Or I'm sick, or I don't know. Or
He
we
doesn't
don't
prep
record.
these sessions for us.
Yeah,
Somebody else does it.
D&DDT.
Or the other 70 runs.
I run
Right.
Young Dragons. We're on this Thursday. I will record this Thursday. What else? Wham Fam T-shirts, HeelTurn Radio. You can find me on Instagram, RSIB Mayor. If you want to see a bunch of food.
Gonna be calling a show this weekend.
Yeah, Crushed. There's a Crushed show this weekend that I believe the Beard and I are calling.
Anyone wants to head over to
Yeah,
Litchfield,
yeah.
Minnesota?
Yes.
Litchfield
I'm gonna be
Opera
on
House?
camera for that. Still
Yeah.
waiting
Nice.
for some information.
So am I. Yeah, we'll be calling that show. I'm not even sure who's on the card. But that should be a good time. And then, if you're interested, contact me because we're doing 31 and 31. 31 horror movies in 31 days. Cassandra and I got a jump start, and we are already 3 movies in. So, yeah.
We're real busy. We need to get ahead of the game.
Spooky films.
So if you want the
Yes.
list that we're running off of,
But,
contact Ben.
yeah, contact me. I will say that if you can't get a hold of a film that's on the list, replace it. We've already had to do it twice. So, there you go. Otherwise, you've been watching D&DDT. Please make sure that, or The Domains of Dread, please make sure that you are reaching out and checking out the other things that are on TTRP Theater, as there are some really great programs.
And thank you very much for your time. Bye.
Bye.